Welcome. Episode 7, Neon at Night. I got a new Hawaiian shirt on. And tonight we're talking army builders. I hope everyone enjoyed the new intro because I'm tired of getting smacked by Worldwide Entertainment for copyright infringement so they can get bent. So let me go ahead and bring him a co-host. And this is the Neon one, the spring-loaded overlord, the prince of trolling himself, my buddy James. What's up, dude?
Man, that's quite an introduction you got there, man. What's up?
What are you doing?
Oh, not much, man. Just was at my sister's house for a little bit doing a gender reveal party. So I guess it's going to be a boy. So I'm going to have 3 nephews. So that was kind of fun. Went to Chicago for that, and just got back a little bit ago, actually, just in time for the show. So,
and you must have hauled ass.
Yeah. But so, how are you doing, man?
I'm good. Move's going well. I'm getting the new Joe room set up.
Dude, it's looking good. Yep. You guys, I mean, really, all you need is the USS flag behind you.
Well, I got that. I had nowhere to put it. So there it is. Yeah. Right on. All right, cool. So, real quick before we bring in our guests, we got Zazel from Sergeant Slaughter's Slaughterhouse, and he's watching from his office. We got our buddy Christopher, and he says he's ready to rumble.
Nice.
We got Pendragon Studios in the house. What's good, party people?
What's up, man?
You're looking at it. This is what's good. That's what's good today. Scrolling. We got scrolling. We got a lot of people talking to each other. Parasilus, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Evening. What's up?
What's up?
And then yeah. We got Drew G's in the house. Cool, very cool.
What's up, Drew?
And as always, which is really cool, George Aiken's joining us from the UK, just like Zay's joining us from Australia. George? That's real cool. Photo Viper's in the house. He says, "What's up, guys?"
What's up, Photo Viper?
Very cool. Oh, and then there's my buddy, Commander Ace Hunter himself, Gaz. What's up, Gaz?
Nice. What's up, man?
Cool. Very cool. Is Chad wearing a Disney park shirt? Yeah, actually I am. So Pendragon's asking if I'm wearing a Disney shirt. I am wearing a Disney shirt. Cool.
I'm not wearing any neon whatsoever.
That's okay. I think I'm wearing more pastel. I think it's a little more pastel than neon, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Whatever. This is our shit. We'll do whatever we want. So our show starting to gain a lot of traction, man. Like we're starting to spread that 90s love. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's really cool.
Our show has become Yeah. And so tonight our guests are Brian and JD from General Geekery Podcast. And because our show is so dangerous, it's so killer, Brian's actually joining us from on duty in case someone needs to call 911 because this show's so awesome.
Nice, dude.
What's up, Brian?
What's up, man?
Hey, man. How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me.
How you doing?
Appreciate it.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
And yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm on duty and I am first up. So if something drops, I got to fly.
That's okay.
Oh, that's all right.
That's okay.
Yeah, totally understand that,
We got so much awesome neon here. Somebody's going to have a heart attack anyway. All right,
I'm
let's
ready for that.
Let's bring in your partner in crime, the Ernie to your Bert. What's up, JD?
What's up, JD?
Hello.
How's it going, buddy?
How's it going?
He's
Pretty good.
I've got my Battle Corps wetsuit and Battle Corps leatherneck customs here with me.
Oh, sweet, man. Sweet.
Are those
That's
6-inch?
awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Yep. Classified versions of Battle Corps leatherneck and wetsuit.
Oh, that's cool, dude.
That came out, man. That came out nice.
Yeah.
You did a really good job on that leatherneck, especially. So, yeah.
I've never worked with leather before, but I made the hat out of a piece of leather.
Oh, wow. Really? That's cool.
Yep.
Very cool.
Cutting, gluing. It was
That is so
terrible, but my man had to have his jungle hat. So
Nice.
Man, that's awesome. I'm gonna have to get one of those from you like one of these days. So,
all
right.
Really?
yeah.
I swear to God, listen, I'm gonna keep you guys on fucking track tonight because we're not gonna be like cats, like chasing laser beams.
Right. Okay.
We're talking army builders tonight, and there is a shitload. gentlemen. So in the
There
main
are.
figures,
Yeah,
in the honorable mentions, we got a ton of figures that we got to cut through.
Yeah.
And our boy Payne's Toy Samples is here. What's up? How's it going? So we're glad that everybody's here.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, I like your classified customs.
Hey Tiff, would you be able to get my glasses behind the TV?
Yes.
In there. Okay. Thank you.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
JD,
4. Okay.
I got something
What's
for
up?
you. Brian already
What?
saw it. You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, that's bringing some flashbacks from
Ooh,
Afghanistan.
yeah. I will totally try it.
Every time I open one, I'm like,
I've never seen a
Man,
can
it's
that
rough,
big,
man.
That's
It's
like
totally
2.5
rough.
rippets right there.
I love it.
I
All right.
will try it,
Thanks, man.
and I will make a video of myself trying it.
Go to the Dollar Tree, buddy.
Yeah, I gotta remember to do that, man.
Yeah, they're like $1 each, but they're like so freaking powerful. I mean, it's just like having a Red Bull. Just I don't know. In my opinion, I really don't like them, but
Right,
if
if
you
I
do,
have
that's
it-
totally cool.
That was the only thing we had, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
we didn't get Red Bull in country.
Oh man.
Rippets, dude. It's all about the rippets. That's okay. If I have a heart attack on screen, Brian will come save me.
Yeah,
Or somebody will call
that.
911.
We got that covered. I got a
And,
defibrillator here somewhere. I'm just sure of it.
I'm on board with George Aiken. We're gonna stick to
I'm
Red Shadows.
precepting one of the new paramedics, so I'll make him work on you.
Oh,
Right on.
He's mostly trustworthy.
no, because right off the bat, he's gonna be like, "Should I shove something down his throat?" Like that's always how it
shit.
goes. Like
This will wake him up.
"Wah!" We're intubating, right? No, just no. His airway's fine. No, just shove it down his throat. We'll be fine.
Yeah,
All
you
right,
be-
cool. All right, gentlemen, we are going to get into. Boop. Ready?
Yeah.
We are ready.
Main event. Here
I'm
we go.
ready.
All right. First up for
Cyber
first figure
Viper.
up for 90s Army Builders, 1993 Cyber Viper. James, what you got?
Never owned
Well-
one. Never ever owned.
I
that
said
figure.
James, motherfucker. James, go.
Okay. I've actually owned a Cyber Viper before. They're pretty cool, actually. They're super expensive now, but they're really cool. If you collect like Neon G.I. Joe specifically, like I do, I mean the Cyber Viper and the Mega Viper are really what you need to get first. It doesn't get more neon than that, you know. And plus, I mean, just look
Oh,
at
yeah.
his face like shield. His face shield just looks so badass.
You know,
I'm not too sure.
it's
about
funny
the whole
because
Play-Doh.
usually we start with like something kind of mild, you know, but tonight we're just like, bam, neon
Balls
right off
out.
the bat.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
a little neon. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Oh, that's all right. I mean, his whole face shield just looks super badass, you know. I'm not really too keen on the whole Play-Doh like gimmick of these Mega Marine toys, but as far as the Vipers go for the set, they are super cool. So
Yeah,
and
Bio
I
armor.
don't like how big and fat the card is though. The card is like oversized, but I guess I can see why because it has like Play-Doh in it and everything. And but yeah, I mean, if you really want to collect these things, and you're on like a budget like I am, go loose. Don't get these carded because they're going to be a lot of money. So yeah, that's about it.
Loose is good. Loose is good.
Cyber
JD.
Viper's expensive, even loose.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you got
Right,
for
yeah, they're like
Cyber
$100
Viper?
loose.
Recently,
JD?
yeah, I think Brian just recently got a Cyber Viper, so I mean that had to be expensive, right?
I got it for a pretty good deal. I got it from my buddy TA here in Colorado Springs. He gave me a real good deal.
I know him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So TA is a pretty cool guy. I actually got into a fight on the internet on an oil platform off the coast of Africa trying to get South America trying to get one of these things. In one of the online Facebook auctions. I didn't end up winning it, but that's kind of like my weird story for this one. But I did end up getting it for my buddy for a decent price, and I love how unusual it is. Even the weird 90s stuff had really cool backstories. The accessories are great. this is one of the ones that I do like the spring-loaded weapon with it. I think it's a great sculpt. The bio-armored silly putty thing, Play-Doh thing, it never really appealed to me. Mine doesn't have the chest plate or the Play-Doh, but otherwise it's complete. And my our buddy KR Custom made a phenomenal update of this figure probably about 6 months ago. So if you've seen his, it's top notch.
Nice. JD, what do you got for Cyber Viper?
I wish I owned one. I love the design of it. I wish they had made a proper modern update. They reused the name for a really crappy Cobra driver figure in the Rise of Cobra line, but it was no kind of Cyber Viper. I like this design. I'd like to own one, but I don't. Yeah, so much of the vintage stuff is just expensive now that it ain't in the cards. Not for a while, but the design of this guy is cool. And unlike a lot of like the 93, 94 stuff, this guy did make it into the Marvel comics, and he was cool looking on the page too.
Yeah. Very cool. All right, I'm gonna pop this off for a second. We're gonna go through some of the comments. I don't know if you guys saw me throwing them up, but so Payne's Toy Sample says very interesting, and then James, you know how we always do every show, right? Right off the bat, never seen this one from the 90s. Very first figure.
Yeah,
I missed it when it came out. I think I just finished collecting at that point.
Well, you know, part of the thing that James and I always talk about with the 90s Joes is that every show that we do, there's always at least 1, 2, 3, 4 people say, "Oh, I've never seen that vehicle. I've never seen that figure. I didn't know about that character. Oh, I'm going to go out and get that figure." And we've had people, Gaz especially, like on shows, he's like, "Yeah, I just bought it on eBay. I just bought that. So that's real cool, and that's part of why we do this. And then
exactly.
Zazel says, "How was Sarge not part of the Mega Marines?" I don't know, bro. Ask Sarge yourself. And then Parasilla says, "Outfit doesn't really say Viper to me." What? What'd you say?
Do what?
Oh no, I said Leck, Mainframe, Sergeant Slaughter, they were all missing. But they had the army.
I don't think Mega Marines means everyone in the G.I. Joe team who was a Marine has to be in it. But and then Jeff Butler says, "I like it. Could have been a Televiper update. Came out just before the internet really took off in the 90s. Cool."
Yeah.
And then Payne's Toy Sample says, "Subdue the colors a bit, and it's interesting enough sculpt to enjoy." Yeah, a lot of the sculpts, even if you don't like the colors, you know, a lot of the 90s sculpts are phenomenal. They did not skim on sculpting.
Would have liked to have seen repainted in like the early 2000s for sure, just to see what they could do with it, because it is a phenomenal sculpt if you've ever had one in hand. Unfortunately, and then, you know, my collection is not with me tonight, but I do have it, and I do love it. I think it's a fantastic sculpt.
But you have an ambulance, so you're cool.
Yeah.
And then George Aiken. Cool. Yep. And then George says that trooper looks like he fits in with a 90s acid rave. Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Parasilla says colors are very Christmassy. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
And then Payne's Toy Sample says Ornament Viper.
Ornament Viper. There you go. There you go.
Yep. And then Christopher agrees. It does scream Christmas. Cool. All right. Well, we're going to move on. And James? 1991 Night Vulture Air Commandos.
Night Vulture. Nice. I've actually never owned one of these before. So this is one that I've never been able to get yet in my collection. I do like the Air Commandos. The gliders, though, are pretty cool. I've had a few of the other ones, but I've never had this guy. But I do love the way he looks. He looks, you know, pretty cool. But I really can't say too much more about him because I don't know a whole lot about him.
There he is, right there.
Yeah.
Purple,
I
orange, black.
I do like his crossbow.
Yeah, crossbow's pretty cool.
Yeah. So. And the
Ryan,
I picked this one up not too long ago. I didn't have, again, this is some of the 90s stuff was real hit or miss for me on what I could get. I have never owned one of the gliders, but I've had quite a couple of the pilots. And this is one that I picked up recently. I've been trying to, the theme of the show is Army Builders, and I am in the process of attempting to collect all of the specialty Vipers, one of every specialty Viper that Hasbro's ever made. And I have all of them up through the Rise of Cobra line.
Nice.
And then what I have left is real expensive convention figures, pretty much. So instead of getting some of those, I've been going back and getting some of the like Cobra Troopers that I didn't have as a kid, and this is one of them. I really like the colors. I think the colors are fantastic. They did a really cool update in the convention set, and this is one that I've been planning to do as a custom myself, but I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet.
Gotcha. And then real quick, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but yes, Zazel, I was laughing at this comment. Sarge, it's your best friend Zazel. Zazel. Yeah, hey, Chad. Said to ask you why you weren't a Mega Marine, Chad. Articulate Chad. Hello? Oh, man, that's terrible. And then George Aiken says Cobra budget cuts. Drew G has just the figure, which is cool. And then Payne says latest attempt at glider technology. And then my boy, Hector, from Elite Legends Toys and Collectibles is in the house, so that's very cool. And then Jeff brings up a good point right here. With a repainted scheme, not Vulture easily could have been a version of Snake Eyes, for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I can see that.
100%.
And I think it was supposed to be. Isn't there some sort of homage to Snake Eyes in the like design that I've heard originally?
I mean, look at him. You know, it screams pretty Snake Eyes.
He definitely resembles Snake Eyes for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Chris says, awesome. The Air Commando's little brother of the gliders. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Payne says, had that Snake Eyes vibe. Yeah, I guess vibe for sure. And then Scuba Pete's in the house. What's up, Pete?
Scuba P, what's up?
Yep. And then,
That's one of the things that I've been holding off making a custom of this is trying to not make it look like a Snake Eyes repaint.
Yeah. And then Elite Legends gives a little public service announcement. Remember, everybody check to see if you're still subscribed. Apparently, he had to resubscribe today. Well, I thank you for doing that. And JD, what do you got for the Night Vulture, my friend?
I love the design of this figure. I like the color scheme. I don't like him as an army builder. I never really did. I've never gotten a vibe of Snake Eyes from him, but I have always gotten the vibe of he was supposed to be an individual. The custom I made last year for Brian, I made him an individual, like a character, but he's a great figure on his own. I did have this one when I was in middle school, and I was a big fan. Like he was, he's one of those figures that even the people that don't like neon figures, I've seen them pour accolades onto this figure because it's really cool. The details in the sculpt are amazing.
Yeah, they are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Night Vulture is a total winner. And of all the gliders on the Cobra side of the Air Commandos, his is definitely the only one that looks stealthy.
Yeah.
For
the
sure.
colors work really well. Yeah,
I think they do too.
Yeah,
I think that's
very
like
cool.
my biggest complaint on people that bag on the 90s stuff is they don't look at how phenomenally, amazingly these figures were sculpted. I mean, they're just some of the best sculpts were in this era.
Mm-hmm.
G.I. Joe's second biggest year was 1993, and everybody wants to bag on. They want to bag on Ecoforce. They want to bag on Mega Marines. They want to bag on Dino Hunters. But what Steve DeGuano and those guys did, Kirk Bazzigian, you know, when he came back as the head of Boys Toys, like they reinvigorated G.I. Joe.
Yep.
You know, for 12 years, Joe stayed on top. Like 94 was not a disastrous year. It wasn't like Masters of the Universe where it just dropped off the planet. Like Joe was still rocking. Hasbro were the ones that killed it, gave it to the people in Cincinnati, the people from Kenner, and they were like, "Oh yeah, do your GI Joe Extreme," and then it died. So Real American
Yeah,
Hero was doing
yeah.
just fine. Yeah. And then
Yeah, I died pretty hard in 95.
yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
It's like we're hunting submarines in World War II.
I thought maybe you were getting called in. Like, that was
Yeah, that's
Car 54.
I was
Where are
listening
you?
from
Car 54.
Hey, it's the hunt for Red October.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
One ping only, please. All right,
Yep.
cool. And then
yeah, I was
James.
Yeah.
James.
I was listening
What?
for a SOS of the
Of the what? Of the Red October. James Patrick's in the house. Big
of
Bacon.
somebody
Oh, hey, what's
saying,
up?
Help
What's
me
up,
on the pipe.
No, I think it's law enforcement using our channel because they can't get out.
Scuba Pete says, this just in. I love doing live shows, man. You never know what's gonna happen.
I know.
My wife's gonna barge in here in like 3
Especially
seconds.
live, you know.
Ryan's over there picking up Morse code.
Right? You
Hello,
expecting
hello,
weather-
Pennsylvania 65000. Hello.
Foreign body butt orifice? No, I'm not going on that one. I'm making my.
Oh my God, man.
Somebody shoved a what up there? Who? Anyway,
Bandit,
Moving on.
It.
moving on. Ryan, be careful what you shoot at in here. Okay, so we're gonna move on.
Do not
All right,
react well to bullets.
moving on.
Oh my
It's
God.
the goddamn cook. All right, so 1990. We're going to 1990, so it's not going to be too neon. Boop. Laser Viper.
Laser Viper. Me and
Laser
JD
Viper.
will not agree on this at all.
JD, we're going to start with you, my man. Laser Viper. What you got?
Boring. Boring.
It's
I didn't
like
like
20
this figure
seconds.
when I was 10 years old in 1990. I don't like this figure at 42 in the year 2022. Boring.
Yep.
I love the Mandalorian helmet. The rest of it is boring.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me how you really
I
feel?
do not. I did not like this. Yeah, I didn't like it when I got it at 10. I immediately wished that I had gotten the Rock Viper instead. Consequently, I never ended up getting a Rock Viper because I was dumb and bought this thing instead.
Hey, just
It's
FYI, I just finished my whole giant rip it, so we're gonna get
Uh-oh.
I'm
close.
working on my second Red Bull of the day, so
Crazy.
Now I'm gonna grab my Coca-Cola. Anyway, he kind of reminds me of. I mean, it's not too far removed from the Astro Viper, from the 1988 Astro Viper.
that's.
I
a
mean,
good
really,
point.
it's not too much of like a stretch, you know. I really don't
Card
care.
art's good.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah, I mean,
Digital
the card art's
explosion, the red to black side gradient. It's not an oversized card. It still has
Right.
that OG file card shape. And I don't know if you caught it, James, but I directly asked Kirk when he was on the show, why did you guys change the file cards? Did you see his answer?
I actually saw most of that, and I don't remember what he said. What did he say?
He was talking about how they changed the layout of the back of the card, and then on the file card
Right.
they put like all the numbers and what things are and what they mean.
Yeah.
And so it kind of necessitated a change to the file card shape.
Right.
So it
That's
actually made sense.
I think that started in 1992, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Brian, since JD just shit all over this figure, what do you got?
Man,
I'm
I did
saving.
not have this one as a kid. I passed it up. I thought, meh, what do I need a Laser Viper for? And then in the process of hunting down the specialty Vipers, I picked this up and thought, man, this is a fucking awesome figure. I love this. I love the color scheme. I love the accessories. I love everything about it. This is one of my favorite Viper figures from this era. And I feel like I'm a poorer person for not having this as a kid, because I would have loved this as a kid, and I still do. And James is right on the money there with the how it kind of looks like the The scope
Astro Viper.
reminiscent of the Astro Viper, which gives me a good idea for a custom that I might have to.
Oh,
nice.
shit, son.
Yeah.
Hey, can anybody tell me what movie Scuba Pete is quoting when he says, "Are the laser vipers ill-tempered"? What movie is that?
That was one of the
Oh.
Austin Powers movies.
Austin Powers. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have sea bass. Are they ill-tempered?
I love those movies.
Freaking laser viper with a freaking laser on it.
Laser
All I
beam.
want is a freaking viper with freaking laser beams. James, what do you got? What do you got for the laser viper 1990?
Man, I think his helmet's pretty cool, like what JD was saying, but really he's kind of like more of a knockoff from the Astro Viper from the 88 Astro Viper, in my opinion. And I don't know. I think he's kind of dull. I don't really like his accessories that much. I don't like his colors. I do like the silver. The silver's about it. That's all I like about him. There's not really too much good I can say. I do like the card art. The card art's wonderful. But as far as the figure, I would probably give it like a 5 out of 10. It's not something that I really like. So,
welcome to 90s Army building on Neon at Night, where we shit on everything.
Boy, I guess, man. I wish I'd had this figure as a kid. I'd have had so much fun with this one.
So right now I'm still
if I
in
had known you in 1990, I would have mailed them to you.
Dude, either you got lag or you're just like really adept at like cutting people off. It's one or the other.
Oh, no,
I don't know
he's
if
really
it's
good at cutting us off. That's
cut that shit out. Fucking hate that.
I think it's
one thing
lag.
I cannot stand. It's
Yeah,
probably both.
lag. Oh yeah, okay, both.
The only laser viper that I have is not the old O-ring one, not the 90, but the modern. I only have a Python Patrol laser viper.
I have the modern one and the modern Python Patrol one.
Cool. All right, let's read a couple of comments about laser viper, and I got to back up a little bit. And then Payne's Toy Sample says, "Now that is okay. It's not Technicolor vomit."
Okay. Well,
Drew G says it's Laser Pants Minions. I guess he's talking about Ryan from 3POA. Let me know if that's what you meant, Drew. And then our buddy Chris says, "I like Laser Viper, but looks too much like something from Star Wars." There you go, JD. That's for you.
yeah.
I can see that.
And I can't really stand Star Wars, so I guess that's another reason why I don't like him. Yeah.
You can't stand Star Wars?
Oh,
I don't like Star Wars that much. No.
Okay.
I just don't.
And then
Sorry.
Patrick Big Bacon says head and chest great, everything else
All right, I can see that.
and then
I like
my
that
buddy Gaz, who knows that the only real good army builders are Megaforce, says Laser Viper, one of the best of the night so far. Oh man, we got a lot more coming for you, trust me. You guys are just gonna hang on. And there you go. Here's another one, JD. Parasilla says no disintegrations. So there's your Star Wars reference. Payne's Toy Sample says reminds me of Quick Draw. Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, Pendragon likes the card art. George Aiken says looks like Boba Fett, great granddad.
Yeah.
I can
And
see
then
that.
Laser Vipers could easily be a welding figure from Plumbers of the Future.
Not in the
Probably
fast
could.
Jeff says always loved Laser Viper's look. Rocking the Cobra Blue, but it's interesting that he didn't have a small handheld laser too.
It's funny you should say that because I was thinking the same thing. It's like this. He does not have any handheld weapons, which is that if I had to nitpick, that would be it. Is he doesn't have. I would have liked to see
he doesn't come with any.
like maybe like sci-fi, some
Yeah.
sort of backpack and laser rifle. But
Well, that's kind of the same thing, like heavy duty, right?
At least a pistol, I mean something.
Yep, same thing. And then Gas says Dr. Evil's Cobra Commander then. And then Backwoods says, "What's up, guys? Just jumping in. Glad you're here. Thanks for coming." George Aiken says Pursuit of Cobra range was full of great army builders. Correct. I
Yeah.
agree. And then Backwoods says Star Wars is a thumbs down for me too.
Awesome,
There you
dude. Awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, fuck Star Wars. No,
Star Wars.
no, we're not dogging on Star Wars. Okay.
Yeah,
so You know, I gotta say, James, you're such a '90s Joe guy. At least you can say for yourself that '90s Joes held off Star Wars.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah,
right,
definitely.
Star Brigade beat Star Wars back for several years.
It did actually.
Coming back.
Yeah, for about
Sure
3 or
did.
4 years, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're going to move on. We are going to go to 1991 Incinerator.
Oh, Incinerator, yes.
Brian, you want to go first?
Yeah,
Yes.
I had this one as a kid. This is one of the last ones that I had.
Yay.
I'm like, it depends on what day it is. Sometimes I really love this figure. This is one that the card art, the figure just doesn't do the card art justice. I loved the launch, the rubber banded launching mechanism that it came with. I thought that was fantastic as a kid. I love the accessories. The head sculpt's fantastic. The arms and the legs are a little too softly sculpted. To me, it's kind of, people were bagging on the sculpt of the Laser Viper, and to me, this is one that's, I love it and I don't.
There you go, James. Second time tonight. Never actually seen one of these up close.
Oh, wow. Right on, dude.
Yeah, very cool.
And here's the one that Chad got me for Christmas, actually.
It sure is. Merry Christmas, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, very cool.
Thanks, man. He's actually one of my favorite army builders. So, yeah.
All right. Well, why don't you gush all over him then? Go.
All right. Well, I just love his I love his accessories. I love his like head sculpt and everything. He kind of reminds me of a track viper, sort of, with the way his head sculpt is. It's kind of robotic a little bit, maybe. I like his Cobra emblem that's on his chest. I think his figure sculpt is just amazing. And I like the silver weapons, and I like the black backpack, which would be the flamethrower thing. And I just love his accessories. I love the way he looks. I think he's a great figure all around, and you get more bang for your buck, because a lot of figures you only get 1 or 2 accessories. Well, with this guy, you get all types. You get like the whole slingshot accessory with the 2 orange balls that you can shoot
plasma
with it.
Balls.
That. Mm-hmm. And it's just a really cool looking figure. I mean, it looks like it could really take out some Joes. So yeah, he's awesome.
And he has a hose.
Yeah, he has a hose too.
Remember how we talked about figures with hoses?
Yep.
Yeah. That's a good looking figure.
Yeah, it's it's pretty much mint.
JD? Yeah, that looks really good, James. JD, what do you got for 1991 Incinerator?
Kick ass. I love this figure.
Oh yeah.
It's the opposite end of the spectrum from Laser Viper. Everything about this is cool.
Yep.
The colors are more interesting. The sculpt is more interesting. It doesn't look like a Mandalorian ripoff.
Yep.
He's big. He's bulky. He looks like he could beat the shit out of Blowtorch and shit, and I would like to watch that fight. The Incinerator kicks all kinds of ass.
Oh yeah, agreed.
Such a
and
good
considering
figure.
it's never been updated, it was never repainted. It stands as one of the rare Cobra Troopers that it's.
This is the only version.
Yeah, but even that wasn't a great repaint. It was barely a repaint.
Yeah,
it wasn't subtle. Like I think the Fun School one fits with this one, as it's still bright. You could make it like an Incinerator's commander, and it would still fit in with the unit. Like I love how bright this figure is. It's fantastic.
I don't think I've actually seen the Fun School version.
I've seen it one time.
I appreciate the fact
it's
that
just different. So
I appreciate the fact that it says incinerators plural on the card art, and It's like a subconscious
All right.
go buy more. You know what I mean? It's very much a army build this sucker. And he looks so good on that card art because he has a digital explosion. You know, the orange and the red in the Incinerator goes so well with the card. It's just great. And then again, the way that the Joe team always contrasts, you know, the back of the rectangle behind the figure looks so good. Yeah. And then plus it has that direct mail away pamphlet behind it. Go ahead.
Yeah. I just wanted to add one more thing. Okay, just like envision like you're in the dime store with your grandma, you know, like in 1990, 1991, and you're looking at this figure, and then you're looking at another figure that's only got a few accessories, and you're looking at this one, and this one's brightly colored. You know, it's the in thing now. It's got all these awesome accessories. He just looks like a total badass, and obviously you're gonna pick this guy. You know, I mean that's right.
Yeah, it looks really good. Yeah. Just the presentation alone on this figure is fantastic. I mean, that's awesome. And then he has that the launcher, kind of like the General Flag did, which was, you know, General Flag the Third, but he has the same kind of launcher. It just works really well. And I'm going to pop this off and I'm going to read a couple of comments because we got a lot of comments on this guy. So I got to back up.
That's how badass he is.
Yeah. So where we started with this one, Patrick said he'd never actually seen one of these up close. Photo Viper says, Incinerator's great figure. I've got 2. Very cool. And then Chris says, love this one. The colors rock and the helmet rocks too. I need 4 of them. Well, go get 4 then, good sir. And I was waiting for somebody to say it, and Jeff didn't let me down. He said, goodness gracious, great balls of fire.
Great balls of fire.
Very cool. Scooby Pete said he just picked this one up too. Very cool, Pete.
Nice. Awesome.
I was just watching some of his Scooby Pete's toy hunting videos. And then George Aiken says these guys wouldn't survive 10 seconds in a jungle. No, they would not.
Probably not, no.
They would not, sir, but I don't think Cobra really cared about that.
No.
And then Photo Viper, so he talks about Fun School version has cooler paint apps. There you go.
I think the jungle would last very long if these guys were in there either.
No.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
They torched the hell out of that place. Man.
Could you see if you're watching that scene in Predator where they're all online after Blaine gets his chest blown out and they're just shooting everything, and then Incinerator just comes up and goes the whole freaking jungle.
Fucking badass.
Launches 2 of those plasma balls and the whole
total badass.
Flames.
And then Scuba Pete says, finally somebody to toast barbecue, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
There might be, this is just a teaser for the very end of the show. There might be another flamethrower trooper that makes a guest appearance. There might be. And then Patrick, I guess he's throwing in a little subtlety. He says, I love my hose. And then my buddy Gas says, Incinerators looks cool. Colors work. That helmet's great. Yeah. And then Pete says, head makes me think of the humanoids from the movie Black Hole. Yeah, the crew. I love that movie, man. I love Black Hole.
God, I haven't seen that forever.
Oh, it's so good. It's on Disney Plus.
Is it?
And then Pendragon says, I wish they had worked more black in the design, 2 silver on red on orange. Okay.
I got to go with Pendragon on that one.
Just get a beater one and a black Sharpie, and there you go. Right? You can make a quickie.
Black Sharpie. I'm not that lazy.
No, I'm not talking about you.
But I'm gonna have to track down one of the Fun School ones now because I think I need that one in my collection.
George, what are you talking about? Shadow Track ready to go. What are we talking about? We talking about me and a Shadow Track? I really hope so. And cool. All right, so we're all caught. Yeah, George and I have been talking about a Shadow Track for a while. So Red Shadow Track.
Oh,
and
cool, man.
Now we're going to move on. And James, controversial. This is on you, dude.
All right.
You wanted this figure in here. This figure is not an army builder, but a lot of people did army build this figure. You know where I'm going, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about 2 different versions of the same character, 1992 and 1993 version 2 of Slice.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He's totally not an art. He's an actual character. But when I was a kid, I never really read the file cards when I was a kid. I opened them up and I played with these toys. you know. So I actually had to relearn a lot of this stuff as an adult, collecting like years like later on. But he's actually a character. But when I was a kid, I had a couple of them, and I acted like they were troopers, you know. I acted like they were Cobra troopers. So as an adult, I army built these guys. So mainly the red ones.
I tried to make this look fun, like they were kind of fighting each other.
Yeah.
Oh, and real quick, once again, I have to give the de facto shout out to our buddy Carson from 3D Joe's because he allows us to graciously use all of his rad photos.
That's so awesome. 3D Joe's is one of my go-to sites.
Oh, yeah.
when doing references before I do my customs.
Carson's the
doing
man.
My file card, or doing my custom card backs.
James, did I interrupt you?
Shout out to 3D Joe's because I
no.
on my customs.
Yeah. Carson's definitely he is the torchbearer of GI Joe. Brian, what do you got for Ninja Force Slice version 1 and version 2? Even though it's not an army builder, but James Army builds them, so we put them in here anyway.
I got to be that guy that says, I don't know that I've ever seen the version 2 in person, but man, version 1, I bought that. I remember seeing that at one of the local drugstores, and I'm like, oh, I need that figure. That is freaking awesome. I love the red. I love the like speckled design that's kind of reminiscent of that the Storm Shadow from that era. I mean, the Ninja Force, this one had like the action feature. Did this one have the action feature in the torso? I don't remember.
No.
Wait,
yes.
I didn't think so.
Yeah, I did. Okay.
Did it? Okay. I couldn't remember if this
the Scorpion / Real Ninja action. It's right. It's right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But I remember picking this up and just thinking it was a phenomenal figure. I love the sculpt. I love the color scheme. I think the orange one works too. And to me, the first one is like the red ninja from the Cobra from the comic book. So it's like a super red ninja almost.
Yeah.
So
well, he was part of Storm Shadow's clan.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of those guys that has like he has a featureless face, so he's easy to army build. I mean, if even though he's actually a character, you could also you could pretend that he's an army builder too, because he doesn't have any kind of a face. It's just like a face shield, you know.
Yeah.
So
like a fencing helmet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, no, I totally can see how this would be even though it's an individual character, I can see how this would be fun to army build on, because this would be, if I had my choice, this would be the de facto red ninja.
Yeah.
I'm going to be that guy, and I'm going to say that version 2. Okay, version 1 is what it is, right? And there it is. But version 2, when I look at it, it looks like it's something that's trying to be Thundercats.
Really?
Like, yeah, it kind of screams like some weird knockoff Chitara thing to me. I don't know.
Huh.
It's something about the orange and the dots. Like it just looks too Thundercats to me. I don't have beef with version 1, even though like me and Ninjas and G.I. Joe, it starts and stops with Storm Shadow as Cobra Commander's bodyguard, and that's in my G.I. Joe headcanon. That's where it starts and stops. And I understand that there's a lot more ninja lore in G.I. Joe, and I'm cool with it on the peripheral, but I don't know. The orange one Thundercats to me.
Huh.
JD, what do you got for Slice version 1 and or version 2? He's just staring.
Oh, I think he's got lag.
I think he's frozen.
There's like lag going on.
Yeah, he might be frozen there.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna pop him out till he can figure it out. Anybody else got anything for version 1, version 2? Oh wait, is he back? Are you back?
Maybe not.
Maybe.
Hit that Morse code again, Brian. Maybe he'll wake up.
I need an emergency.
No. Okay.
Here.
Yeah, he just did that. He dropped off. Okay. Anyway, we're just gonna drive on. So technical difficulties happen. Yeah. I'm gonna go to the chat and I'm gonna see what people say about Slice version 1 and or version 2. So real quick, since we were talking about Black Hole, Pendragon says, when I was at Disney World, I bought one pin, Vincent from Black Hole. Very cool. You know, by old Bob. And then George Aiken says, just what a modern army needs, more ninjas.
Hell yeah,
And
man.
then, Chris says, Slice looks like the ninja bat. Okay.
From the Sigma 6 line.
Yeah. And then Pendragon says, Carson is
I
the
can see that.
Father. Yeah. Photo Viper says, I've got red slice. Red slice. It sounds like a soda. Look at my red slice. This is great, except for the judo chop gimmick. Yeah.
Yeah, I did not like the.
I didn't like the gimmicks at all, but I do like the figure sculpt.
No, that's
Yeah.
one of the things we've talked about on our show. Is I do not like the action features in figures.
And then Scuba Pete says, it slices, it dices. Look at that tomato. And then George
that's
Aiken
why
kind of echoes
Weird
what I
Al
was saying
song.
about Thundercats, and he says leopard print pants. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, just get some parachute pants going on that second one.
Yeah. Oh, parachute pants, man. Remember those?
Yes.
And then Patrick says, I had a secondhand slice. Loved the look. Since I didn't have Storm Shadow or Snake Eyes, he became my de facto ninja. Very cool.
Nice, man. That's cool.
And then and then Backwoods says version 2 looks half. I guess that's Cheetah.
half-assed.
And then look who's here.
Fast.
Jay
One of my
Bartlett.
favorite people.
What's up,
One of
Jay?
my favorite people in the world. Very cool. Welcome,
cool.
Jay. Glad you're here. And then everybody's saying, "Oh, Jay, what's up, Jay?" Yeah, I'm glad Jay's here.
Yeah,
And then Pendragon kind of emulated what I said and said, "Too many ninjas." Too many.
Oh, you can never have
I
too
can
many
tell you,
ninjas.
JT
though.
will not agree with that sentiment, but that's just
That's okay. But see, that's the beauty of it, is we can all have our own opinions, and it's cool. And then Gas says, army building these, of course, they remind me of the Rainbow Ninjas from American Ninja 4. Check that out.
Oh man, there's a throwback.
Yeah. And
I don't think I've ever seen
Jeff,
American Ninja 4, actually.
I don't think I've seen it before either.
Jeff says the enemy of Orange Slice is lemon lime Sprite. Isn't all Sprite lemon lime? Isn't that what that is? Or they called it Limon, right? And then Pendragon says Chitara, except no substitutes. And then apparently Patrick was telling JD to wake up. And then Jay's asking if we can army build Falcon. Yes, you can.
Yeah,
You can do whatever you want, good sir.
done. They swap
You can have
heads.
19 Storm Shadows. And then I see that JD's back. I'm going to grab him here in a second. And then Jeff says version 2 Slice might pair as a ninja army builder with the red ninja battle axe driver, though, since that's the dice mold anyway. Yep. Dale Santaford's in the house. What's up, Dale? And he says, I like Slice version 1. Version 2 is wearing orange. Yes, that is correct. He's wearing orange. Yep. And then Zazel has a public service announcement. Don't forget to hit the like button. George is leaving. He has to go to work in 6 hours. George, thanks for coming. As always, we always
good to see you, George.
I'm at work. Come on, man.
And then Jay again says, make sure you guys thumbs up on the stream. Yes, please. Oh boy, look at this. Look, Hans Chow's here. Drop kicks in the door.
What's up, Hans?
Well, we're glad you're here, Hans. And then there's a lot. This is very cool.
Yeah. And
then Pendragon says, when people say you can never have too many ninjas, I say 3 ninjas is too many. All right. And then it's all just people.
It got old in the comic books pretty quick for me with all the ninjas.
Okay, I'm going to try to bring JD back in, but he keeps fidgeting with his stuff. What's up, dude? Are you alive?
Hey, there he is.
It's so laggy. I can't help it.
It's okay.
Oh, that's okay.
It's totally okay.
It's laggy.
Do you want to? It's totally fine, man. We appreciate it. Do you want to share your thoughts on Slice or Slice version 2? I'll throw them back up for you.
I have no particular opinion on Slice version 2. I've never owned it. But I'm in Slice version. Slice and Dice are my favorite ninjas in all of G.I. Joe. So Slice version 1 is it for me. Slice version 2 is just there, I guess.
Okay, fair enough. And then, in case anybody was wondering, we got this going on, so that's cool, right? So, in case anybody wants to see
Oh my God.
photos of someone's sister,
Oh my.
and then
That's
Hans
how you
Chow
know
says,
you've made it big is when they're
yeah. Or like when you make customs and people come and bag on them. Oh, what do you mean that beachcomber doesn't transform? Get out of my face. Hans Chow says, oh, yep, we lost him again. Devices are not connected. Okay, I'm just going to remove him. I'll let him figure it out. So Hans says, slice and slice version 2, the original mustard and ketchup. Ketchup and mustard, yep. Cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
He's selling pictures of his sister.
Crucify him.
He's probably not selling him. He's probably just giving them away. I wouldn't spend too much money on it.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to block this user. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So now, gentlemen, we are going to move
How am I gonna
on.
get pictures of his sister now?
Oh, I'll get them for you later. Don't worry about it.
Cool.
It's cool.
Thanks, man.
Oh, my
Probably
God.
shouldn't say that kind of stuff while I'm in uniform.
No, probably not. All right, cool. So now we're going to move on to
Here.
1993. James, there you go. Mega Viper.
Oh hell yeah, dude! The Mega Viper. Yeah, he's cool as hell. This is probably the only instance where I can actually see like pink and like yellow or an orangish or like a greenish yellow would actually work. They work really good together. But like in only this instance, this is the only figure that I can really say that this looks great. He's one of the coolest army builders in my opinion. He's very expensive though. I do like his accessories. I don't like the, again, I don't like the whole Play-Doh setup, the whole gimmick of the Play-Doh and all that. The card's way too big. I don't like those at all. But the figure is super cool. So
Look at this comment. This next show's topic. The sister.
I do like the file card though. The green file card is super cool in my opinion. This is just before the file cards went to like a baseball card sized.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in '94. This is in like late '93 where they still had the rectangular ones. And I'd say the file card looks pretty cool. So
very cool. And when you look at the figure on the card art, and we've talked about this with other figures like Gristle, et cetera, on that card art, really looks like he's leaning kind of Python Patrol.
Yeah.
But then when you look at the figure, I mean, you can see he's got the cross stitching. It just doesn't have the colors. But if you put that color in there, you would be hard pressed to not mistake this for a Python Patrol figure.
Yep.
Brian, good sir, at work, saving lives. What do you got? Mega Viper.
I love everything about this figure. I love the color scheme. I love the sculpt. My only like detractor was the reuse of weapons. I think one of my favorite things about getting Joe's every year was the new weapons that they came with. So to see repurposed weapons, I mean, you got a Rock Viper weapon in there, you got a Toxo Viper weapon in there. That was kind of a letdown for me, but they still work. I do like I said, the color scheme, like James was saying, the color scheme works. I've heard somebody call this one the Lemonade Viper because it looks like regular lemonade together.
Yeah.
Again, another one where the spring-loaded weapon works with the figure very well.
Yep.
I'm a little ambivalent about some of the spring-loaded stuff. Spring-loaded stuff is not my favorite thing. A lot of times it's too big or too bulky or it doesn't work well with the figure. This is another one where I think that it works very well with the figure. I love the repaints where they did this as the Sub Viper. This is just, and it's a hard figure to track down. It's an expensive figure to track down. I would have liked to have seen them do an update of this figure in the modern line. Yeah, I love everything about this figure. I did a JD sent me some Marauder parts and challenged me to do a female version of this, and it was just after I got my airbrush, and that was the only way I was going to do yellow was with an airbrush.
Yeah.
Wow.
Brushing yellow is forget it. That's a nightmare.
Yeah, forget it. So, and it came out really well. So I was really happy with that. So.
Very cool. You know, one thing I think that is very interesting about the Mega Viper is that the bio armor moldable, like shell is black, which is interesting because that's the only black thing that comes.
Yeah.
So,
and you have to have, if you have any of the bio beasts, you have to have this because this is the bio beast trainer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure is. All right. Very cool. I love the helmet sculpt. I love that helmet sculpt. It's money. Absolutely. Some people can't get past the colors, but the sculpts in these figures are freaking great.
Yeah.
His lower legs, I'm going to be honest, from the knees down, it has a lot to be desired because just look at this. It's just a slab. There's like no detailing on the sides of the boots. Just like bam, there it is. It's like he's wearing giant galoshes.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. I'm going to back up and I'm going to read some comments, gentlemen. And we got a lot on this one. So first, Pendragon says being angry because the Transformer custom doesn't transform is like being mad that your Zartan can't actually turn invisible.
Thank you, Pendragon.
Yeah, I like that.
I've had my customs bagged on like that before too, and it's annoying.
Yeah. And then Patrick's splitting because tonight's the series finale of Walking Dead. Apparently, I didn't even know that show was still on. But later, bro.
That show's still on.
See you later.
Not for long.
Wow. Yeah, and then Photo Viper says, "Awesome figure, too expensive to army build, though."
Didn't used to be.
Yeah, well, yeah. Not everything didn't used to be expensive. And Payne says, "Love the sculpt, but that mustard color is awful, and the pink man so close yet so far." Chris says Mega Viper, cool colors, but where is the X all over this figure? Yeah, exactly. So it's on the file card.
It does have it on the inside of the thighs, though.
Yeah, you can see the sculpting, but
this would have been a good one for the kind of the mid 2000s where they repainted some of those and had decent paint washes in the abs.
Yeah,
because to bring out the detail in the sculpts.
Yep. And then Dale says, "I actually like the Mega Viper and the Cyber Viper. Very cool.
Very cool."
The snake pattern around Mega Viper reminds you of Python Patrol. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
This would have been a cool Python Patrol repaint.
Yeah, 100%. And then Han says, "Say what you will, as a child, bonus Play-Doh was always a plus." Yeah. That's those play gimmicks where they were talking about, lines as a language. So they did a really good job. And then we got some of that.
Oh man, dude!
Got a little bit of I got a little bit of that back, and I'm gonna block that user.
How is that happening?
We're cool.
Yeah.
And then Pendragon
watching it that the bots are finding it.
Yeah, Pendragon says overall I like the sculpt, but the color scheme and the card art is too much like the Shocker from Spider-Man. I could see that.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that.
I can see that.
Good way to put that together. Dale says, "I never found the reason to use Play-Doh, but use it for the armor a couple times." Yeah, the bio armor.
Yeah.
And then Jeff says, "Not to be confused with Mega Man Viper, who would have had a cannon built directly into his arm." Yeah. Get it? Mega Man?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Yes.
Mega Man?
Yeah.
Bueller.
He's sick.
Photo Viper says 2003 convention Swamp Viper shares this sculpt but is blue and gray.
Huh, yes. I did not know that.
Yeah.
And then my man Gaz says, "Bleh, Mega Viper, there's nothing mega about him." Fair.
Okay.
Backwoods looks like Play-Doh. Yeah, he's kind of supposed to. And then they're just kind of all... Scuba Pete says, juxtaposition of yellow and pink. He must snag it. Go get it, Pete. Go get one.
Yep. You won't regret it.
Jeff says, "Always thought the neon colors is to better catch the attention of the brutish monster Viper." I could see that.
Yeah.
One of these days, I'm gonna track one of these guys down and actually get one. So
you need one of these?
Yeah, that's one that I've always wanted. I've just never been able to really afford. It's just too expensive.
Yeah, I think I got mine again from TA.
Oh, right on.
There you go.
Yeah, I actually do lots of trades with him. I might have to talk to him and see if he might have one.
Definitely.
Okay.
Dale says I'm okay with reusable weapons. Give that to your other shows so everybody has a weapon. As a kid, I had trouble losing weapons. Okay.
Yeah, I can see that. It just, like I said, I love new weapons as a kid. So
yeah. And then Gas says he's down with the sculpt, but the colors burn his retinas. My eyes. Yeah, and then there's just a bunch of on and on and on and on and on. So cool. All right. And look who's back. Are you back?
Hey, there he
Are you
is.
back?
there
Are
we
you
go.
back?
I guess.
You there?
I guess he's just angrily staring. He's like, maybe. All right, cool.
I don't know. I don't know how
You got
long
any-
it'll
you
last.
got
I
anything?
don't know if it will or not.
Do you have anything for the 93 Mega Viper?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great spokesperson for both lemonade and pink lemonade.
He just comes
mean-
back swinging. He's like,
Right?
I know, man.
This figure would have been perfectly acceptable as a mail-away tie-in offer for Kool-Aid and or Sunny Delight, but
Or Capri Sun.
actually, it's a
Should've been
really
Capri
cool.
Sun.
It's a cool sculpt. They could have done all kinds of things with it, like that helmet with the cord. Yeah, this is one very cool figure. Another one
Yeah,
that
it
I've
is.
never owned. And I saw somebody in the chat did mention the Mega Viper was repainted as the Swamp Viper, and while that was interesting, it also didn't do what Brian said, and it wasn't really repainted to bring out the details more because, like somebody mentioned, that sculpted net pattern, they never highlighted that with any paint, and to give it a really detailed repaint of it. But overall, I mean, it's a good figure.
Yeah.
cool. All right. Well, thank you for coming back, JD, and thank you for your input on the Mega Viper and all of your lemonade references. So now we're going to move on to 1991.
I mean, I'm trying.
So yeah, it's okay. We're going to bounce back and forth. And James, here is your Sludge Viper.
Oh yeah, Sludge Viper.
You wanna take him?
He's sure. He's one of my favorite army builders. He's super awesome. He's still pretty affordable. And I love his weapons. He actually shares some weapons with
Toxo
well,
Viper
one of
version
them
two.
is Toxo Zombie. He shares the same squirt gun gimmick thing with him. And what's the other one?
Toxo Viper version
Anyway,
2.
okay. Yeah. Anyway, this guy is just awesome. Like all around awesome. I love the whole color change gimmick that's on. This is one gimmick that I do like. Because most of them I don't like, but I do like this one. The Eco Warriors is probably my favorite subset. And I really can't say. I mean, the accessories are awesome. The figure sculpt's awesome. The colors are awesome. You know, the card art is awesome. I mean, yeah.
The card art makes him a little more like dark green and gold, whereas that not so much. But I love this pose that this figure's in on the left that Carson kind of put him in like that with his weapon back.
Yeah.
And
it's pretty cool.
I definitely agree with you where the color changing, it pops really well on this figure.
Oh yeah, it really does.
Brian, what do you got?
Man, this is another one that I picked up earlier this year, and I love everything about this figure. The sculpt is fantastic. I do, like James said, that I think the color change gimmick is one of the coolest things that they've ever incorporated into the G.I. Joe line.
Oh yeah.
Whereas I had said that I was kind of miffed that they reused a lot of the weapons in this time frame. I think this is one that doesn't piss me off because the Toxo Viper gear, to me, this is what Cobra would do. It's like, okay, here's a new class of trooper, but you're getting hand-me-down gear. I mean, that's like Cobra's whole premise on their Toxo Vipers is it's all shitty gear. And to me, that just works perfectly. I mean, that just screams Cobra. Here's hand-me-down gear for a new class of trooper. I love it.
Yep. Yeah.
JD, can you hear us from the moon? JD.
Houston, we have a problem.
Brian, get out your Morse code. One ping only, please.
Oh man, JD, are you there?
Oh,
Oh
have-
man.
we got a something.
You got that right.
And there he goes.
All right.
What? Okay. Anyway, so we all kind of talked about Sludge Viper. So yeah, there he is. 1991 Sludge Viper Eco Warriors. Yep. So it's again, like this sculpt is so good. I love the boots. I love the cutout, the little V cutout in the front of the boots. And he has that extra little piece on there. The sculpt is so great. I especially love the little glove part in the forearm. It's just a great
his helmet is
figure.
His helmet is badass.
Helmet's awesome.
Oh yeah,
it looks like a Boba Fett kind of a thing, which I've always liked, as far as Star Wars. But I've always liked the whole Boba Fett helmet. But it kind of reminds me of that,
I like his helmet design. It's kind of like almost screams Interrogator to me, but a little more intense. So I really like that design. And then I'm going to find where we were on the. Okay, here we were. So Chris says Sludge Viper has cool colors. I would have bought this back in the 90s. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I never saw this one in the store when I was a kid.
I mean, that shade of green is just awesome. I mean, the shade of green that's
like
on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And me personally, I probably would have gravitated to him a little more if it was more gold like it shows in the card art, but it's still a fantastic figure. And Scuba Pete says Sludge Viper because somebody's got to clean out the latrines.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And somebody has to clean the porta shitters.
Yeah. They're pretty much the lowest of the low, but they're pretty cool.
Yeah. And then Hans Chow says Sludge Viper, real hidden gem, the squirt gun, any squirt gun with the plunger system were great. Better than the spring-loaded launchers. Honestly, he may be in the minority. And that's cool, brother. That's your opinion, by all means. Jeff says such a good design. They reused it in the early aughts for Sub Viper. You were talking about that, right, Brian?
Yeah.
And then Photo Viper says,
and somebody mentioned the Jungle Viper too.
Yeah. And then Photo Viper says also great figure, but the blue plastic starts to crumble with age. Handle with care.
Ooh, that's good to know.
Yeah. And then Wilhelm's in the house, so thanks for coming. And then Pendragon says, guys, this figure is a hot mess.
That's the point.
Yeah, that's supposed to be the point. And then apparently that Walking Dead finale sucked or was real short because Patrick's back. So
hey, what's up, Patrick?
We missed you for that 4 minutes you were gone, man. So whatever. And then Pendragon says color needs some sort of grounding, some gray, silver, something to break up the tropical melon overload.
I think the gold would be pretty cool, actually. If I was going to do custom, I think I would do gold instead of yellow.
Yeah, I can get behind that. And then Patrick says it's a beautiful figure. Gas says Sludge Viper looks cool. Sculpt is cool. Yeah, it's a really good sculpt. And then Dale, Sludge Viper is actually a decent look, but you could confuse that with the Cobra Eel version 2. Okay.
A little bit. I guess.
From these pictures, I can see that. But once you have it in hand, the green is it's teal versus blue on the eel.
Yeah. And then Wilhelm says totally missed out on these and pretty much everything from 90s on. Well, the good thing is that you can still get them. Parasilus says color scheme makes me think of Merman.
Oh yeah.
And then
I can see that.
All I hear is Jay doing his Merman impression, which I love to have him do. And then Wilhelm says it's fun to discover new to me figures like these. Very cool. And that's why we do these 90s shows, because there's a lot of good stuff in the 90s that a lot of people just missed out on.
Yep.
Very awesome. And I put these next figures in this order. Army building, but there's a specific reason why I put them in, and we're going to get to it. And the next one is 1990 Rock Viper. Brian, you want to go first with Rock Viper?
Yeah, I live in Colorado. I'm from Colorado. I live in Colorado all my life, and anything to do with the mountains was instant buy for me. This is a phenomenal figure. One of my absolute favorite figures. The sculpt is amazing. The camo is awesome. The figure is awesome. The accessories are awesome. The weapons are awesome. Everything about this figure is phenomenal. The backstory is great. Read the file card sometime if you haven't. The backstory on these guys. I mean, the file card on the Alley Vipers make those guys just look like gorillas, and these guys are no different. They're just the mountain version of them, and I could just see these guys running over Alpine without any problem. I love this figure. I was so excited when I saw the announcements for the Pursuit of Cobra, that they were going to do a Rock Viper in the Pursuit of Cobra line, because everything in the Pursuit of Cobra line was just pure wind. They were re-envisioning everything, and then was sorely let down when it was just a kit bash of crap. So I might be in the minority on that one, but I absolutely detest the Pursuit of Cobra Rock Viper. But this one, I love this one. If you have this figure and it has an intact crotch, this is one of those ones that is extremely hard to get with an intact crotch. So if yours is intact, treat it like it will break just by looking at it, because it will. I have two of these. One has a broken crotch, one does not.
Treat your crotch well, people.
Yeah.
Man, how many times are you going to fucking say crotch in like the span of 2 minutes? I loved it. And then speaking of crotch, our buddy Ryan Laserpants from 3POA is here, and he says, Army build these nuts. So thanks for coming, Ryan. Fucking asshole. But I do love Ryan, and thanks for coming, Ryan. So we're talking about crotches and nuts, and James, take it away.
All right. Well, I actually had this guy when I was a kid. I've always liked him. I had a lot of fun with him in the sandbox. I actually had a bunch of trees on the farm that I grew up on, and a bunch of these apple trees, and I'd like have them climbing from the branches of the apple trees, and I'd have them all over the place. And yeah, kind of what the crotch on these guys, or I'm just going to call it a fun zone. They break so easily. I don't know if that's better. I've had so many of these Rock Vipers, and every single one of them, except for one, has always had a broken fun zone on them. And it's just that I don't know why, but they're extremely fragile. It's kind of like the version 1 Duke. It's hard to find him with a intact fun zone.
Stupid fragile fun zones.
Yeah. So. But I love the accessories. I love that you can actually have them climbing on stuff. When I was a kid, that's what I did with that rope accessory. It's called a grappling hook or whatever. But he's just a lot of fun. I like the figure sculpt. I like the really cool camouflage that's all over him.
Yeah, the digital camo.
Yeah, that.
James, you keep hitting your mic. You keep hitting your mic when you're doing that.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, go ahead.
And anyway, I do like his accessories too, the color of them. I mean, as far as his rifle is concerned, and he has another gun that's the same color. But yeah, he's a great figure. The card art looks amazing. This is the last year when they had the actual proper looking, cards, in my opinion. After that, they kind of just changed like drastically. But I don't have anything bad to say about him, except for he can never he can never keep his fun zone. It's always broke.
Stupid crotch. Yeah. I love the Rock Viper. I hate his crotch, his useless crotch. I had to put this picture of him hanging. I just had to put that in the middle, because when I saw that on 3D Joe's, I was like, "Yep, that's going dead center."
Yep, that's
it's perfect. I had to do it.
That's super cool.
I love this figure. I love the concept of the figure. The fact that Cobra has a mountain trooper, because Joe's have mountain troopers, right? You got Alpine, et cetera, et cetera. So the Rock Viper makes perfect sense. I love the design of the figure. The sculpt of the figure's helmet, to me, I like a little better than this.
Yeah.
because that looks like he's, like remember Bullet Man, the human bullet. He kind of looks like an update of Bullet Man from the early Joes. I'm glad that the figure's helmet does not look like a pyramid.
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact that it's a little more blunted. But I love this figure. I love the subtle maroon with the digital camouflage and the good use of black throughout the figure. It's very balanced. I love him. I love the shin guards. Everything about this figure is freaking rad. I'm sorry that he has a pathetic crotch, but other than that, he's great. And JD is now joining us from what looks like either the top of the stairs or the basement. Can you hear us, JD?
I can hear you.
Hey, Rock Viper, let's have it, sir.
Yeah. Well, I moved upstairs closer to the router, and I'm sorry I was wrecking the show before. Hopefully, I'm done wrecking the show now.
You're not wrecking shit.
Oh, no,
that's part of the fun of a live show. Hey, remember when we had you on and you had the ghosts, right? And your lights kept turning on and off. We kept talking shit about The Exorcist. It's fun.
Are you in that room right now? Is that the very room?
No.
Okay.
That's the kitchen right below me. But there's wind outside, and I think it just didn't like the Wi-Fi. So,
Rock Viper, go.
The Rock Viper is a badass figure that I've never owned, because if you'll recall earlier in the show, I said I was dumb and I bought a Laser Viper instead of a Rock Viper that one time and never got a Rock Viper as a result. I wish I had, because it's a million times cooler. I have had one.
Yeah. I
did have one that I got as a beater for like custom fodder, but the peg was broken because I thought, well, what if I just keep it as a Rock Viper and just get the accessories? Nah, it was in too crap a shape. So I've never owned a good one. And like you all, and like they say over on the What's on Joe Mind podcast, he is not thick in the crotch. And I remember there was Brian at one time texted me and asked if I had a Rock Viper crotch that was intact. And I'm like, dude, I don't think Rock Viper crotches that are intact exist. They stopped existing after 1990 when everybody broke theirs.
Yeah.
What thoughts do you have for the Rock Viper?
But what is there bad to say about this figure? The accessories are great. The specialty is great. The deco is great. The sculpt is great. I love the Zorro mustache on him. It's just the Rock Viper is a phenomenally cool figure that I would actually like to own a decent copy of someday. But yeah, I mean, they got to be harder to come by. The accessories, even when I look for this guy on eBay, good luck if it has more of the accessories than the big rifle. So yeah, the Rock Viper, there's nothing negative to say about this figure.
I did an updated. So one of my specialties for customizing is doing female versions of the specialty Vipers, and I did a female Rock Viper, and that's one of my favorite customs that came out so nice.
He did not put the mustache on his female.
I got a lot of comments.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, I got a lot of comments like, "Where's the mustache?"
I have to agree with Brian though. The Pursuit of Cobra Rock Viper, it wasn't just a lazy Frankenstein figure. It was everything the original Rock Viper
wasn't.
They wanted to, but they looked at the original Rock Viper, said, "Hey, let's use the color scheme and let's make a figure that has none of the magic of the original."
and that. So there's a couple reasons why you're not going to see the normal thing that I do, where I put the moderns in. A lot of these figures don't have modern interpretations. If they do, they're different paint schemes, so on and so forth. And I didn't want to put the modern Rock Viper in here. And that being said, there's a shitload of figures for us to get through. So, anywho, okay, so I'm going to go to the comments now, and I popped off my other screen, and Pendragon says, "For those about to rock, we salute you." Hans says, "The mustache was part of the uniform," and Photo Viper says, "Porn stash for the win."
Porn stash for the win, yeah.
Patrick says, "Modern update for the Rock Viper pales in comparison to the original. Yep, sadly. I hate to say it as well. Christopher, there you go, James. Another figure I've never seen before.
Man,
Oh, right
Missed
on,
out
dude.
a lot of good figures.
right on.
Get one.
Hey,
Probably
we're
gonna have
glad to help.
A broken. Yeah, we're totally glad to help. You're gonna have a broken crotch though. And then Pendragon says, "So I like the colors on this one, but the triangle-shaped helmet is a note for me." Actually, when you look at the figure, it's not very pyramidian shaped or triangular.
Just in the card art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, wow, the chat
Looks like a
just-
freaking pyramid on the card art.
Yeah, it
Oh
does.
yeah, the card art's terrible. Patrick says it's very badass figure, and then everyone's saying hi to Laser Pants. Yep, everybody say hi to Ryan, and then Scuba Pete says protect your crotch. Pro tip.
Agreed.
Pro tip.
Gaz says Rock Viper stellar figure with a triple multiplier of an ultra mustache. Yep.
Yeah.
And then people are talking about Laser Pants Brat's car. Okay, cool. Yep, Brat's car. Hey, I sent Ryan pictures of a garbage truck and he didn't want it. So whatever. And then Pendragon says Rock Viper strong climber with a fragile fun zone.
He's using that
100%.
term, fun zone.
Yeah, fun zone. And then for a guy whose helmet looks like a peen tip, he's sure got a fragile fun zone. And then, yeah, we're all talking about PPs and poo-poos and stuff. And
Well, it's the crotch
collectors
factor,
take the
you know.
Rock Viper for granted.
Oh,
Oh, I get that pun. I get it.
Yes.
I love Pete's dad jokes. Pete's dad jokes are great. And
I
then
go
Photo
fix
Viper
mine.
says,
Puns for the win, sir. Thank
so
you.
Photo Viper's crotch is intact. I don't know if he means the figure or his own.
yeah, you might want to
And then,
clarify that. But
Yeah, he's going to be sure to be careful. And then Kirk's Corners is here. What's up? And then he says, we need a show every night. Very cool.
I wish.
And then Scuba says, this is another baddie I need. Go get him.
yeah, absolutely.
Kirk's Corner says, still have my childhood Rock
definitely.
Viper backpack. Very cool.
Nice.
Lost the figure. That's too bad. Classic rock beats modern rock. Okay, so cool.
Yes.
I think we're pretty caught up on that. And now we're going to move on. And we're going to talk about 1991 Desert Scorpion. And my
Oh,
dumbass
Figure.
wasn't even looking at the screen, and I'm like clicking. I'm like, oh, I didn't put that screen up. There it is. JD,
Oh man.
since you're joining us from the dark side of the moon, why don't you go first with the 91 Desert Scorpion?
1991 is my favorite year from the vintage toy line, and this
Same
is
here.
one of my three favorites from that line. I love this figure. Love it, love it, love it. I had one when I was a kid for 1 week. And then a friend of mine came over to play, and I never had a Desert Scorpion again after that. I don't know, because I'm a wimp and never confront people, but I'm pretty sure that my friend stole my Desert Scorpion. I mean,
Oh,
I'm
man.
sure he's a great guy, but whether he five-finger discounted it or not, or just Antley took it, I don't know. But I'm Scorpion. I've never replaced it, but I love this figure. I don't use it as a trooper. Personally, he's so badass looking. I use it as an individual, like Cobra's own answer to Dusty, but this figure is phenomenal. Even the little boxes, the speaker boxes that nobody knows where they go on the figure, even that's a cool accessory because no matter what.
And we were having that discussion in our little group chat, the four of us, and you were like, why'd you put Desert Scorpion in there? And I'm like, because he's a troop builder.
Well,
Yeah.
He's an individual character.
Love this
And I
guy.
threw up his file card, and I'm like, no, he is not.
No, because you're right. No, on the file card, you're right. He is.
Yeah.
He is a trooper. I've just never seen him that way because he's just too cool looking. I like the idea that there's only one guy running around working for Cobra looking like this. Plus, A whole troop class that's gonna fuck with that giant scorpion? Are you kidding me? No, there's only got to be one guy brave enough to
It's
do
like
that.
Starship Troopers, man. It's like a bugs.
It is like
and
Yeah.
they all just start coming at you.
I love it. I love it, but
Dude, I
most
freaking
people
love
would
that
be
movie.
Terrified of it.
Cool. James, Desert Scorpion, what do you got, buddy?
All right. Well, I got one right here actually. But anyway,
Yep.
he's one of my favorites. He's man, I just wish that it wasn't so hard to get all of his accessories because they're so easily lost. You know, they're so tiny. His accessories are so small. His little tiny missile, especially, it's always gone from these guys. His backpack's almost always gone from these guys. I have yet to get his backpack, so I don't even. All I have is his gun and the scorpion. But his accessories are just so. I mean, especially his. He has like these wristbands, and they're really hard to find. So
Yeah, the speaker boxes. That's what I was talking about.
yeah, that. But he's like a super cool looking figure. He's one of my favorite army builders. He's just like really expensive to complete, so I'm just not even gonna complete mine. You know, I'm just gonna leave it at. He has his gun. That's really all that he needs. You know, his gun. He has the scorpion. I'm cool with that.
And that's what we
but
come down to with collecting. I mean, do you want to have the figure, or do you only want to have a complete one? I'd rather have a figure that's 60% complete than no figure.
Depends on the figure for me.
Exactly. But but I mean, he actually looks cool just with his gun. I mean, it really looks like he actually could be complete. You know, besides the little tab that's on his head. But yeah, I really love this guy. I love the figure sculpt. I like all the colors that's on him. I like his accessories whenever you can find them. And the scorpion's a nice little touch. You know, it comes with an actual scorpion, and I always thought that was really cool.
I appreciate. Okay, keep going.
I've always thought this guy looks like the best on the Cobra Desert or the Cobra. I think it's called the Cobra Scorpion from 1994. The vehicle that looks kind of like the Badger, only a little bit different. But I always thought he looks like the best on one of those. So
cool.
If you guys know what I'm talking about, the 94 vehicle, it's called the Scorpion.
Yeah, I have the shell of one somewhere. It's just missing like the whole top part, but the way that it's molded, it still kind of works. I don't know.
Yeah,
they went a little wacky.
I always thought he looked super cool on those. So
I appreciate.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
I appreciate the fact that when Cobra does a Desert Trooper, it's not like Dusty, either Ron Rudat or Ron Tater, depending on how you look at it, right? Because they got his name backwards. But they're like, we're going to do a Desert Trooper. We're going to make him an army builder, and we're going to give him an animal companion, but it's a giant mutant scorpion. And they just kind of take the whole premise of a desert warfare specialist, and they just amp it up Cobra style. So I always really appreciated that. And again, I love this card art, and here they put that lavender purple because it offsets all the colors and it makes everybody pop out. They always did a great job with that. So did Kenner. They always did a really good job of making the figures front and center. And he works really well with the red to black gradient and the digital explosion. I love the figure. He's got like that subtle doo-doo brown. I call it doo-doo brown. And he's got the black and the yellow and the red. It all pops really well. Brian, what do you got? Desert Scorpion.
I did not have this figure as a kid. I do not have it in my collection currently. I've never had one, and it is at the top of my want list. I dig everything about this. I did a custom of one a number of years ago and was not happy with it. This is one I want to revisit just because how cool it is. I felt my custom didn't do the original justice, and I really want one of these.
So one thing that I always, when I was younger, and by this time I was almost 18 years old, right? So I wasn't like a kid anymore when this figure came out. But when I would look at the figure loose, I know it's like a segmented kind of helmet. It always read to me like he had his hair slicked back. It kind of always read like that. Like on the card, it doesn't. But when you look at the actual figure like head on, and he's got the soft goods too to keep the sun off the back of his neck. But that just reads like
I can see why you're saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though it's not. So, all right. Real cool. We talked about Desert Scorpion. It's a great figure, great troop builder. And now I got to back up because a lot of people went nuts on this figure. And then Pendragon says he comes with a giant scorpion.
Sure
Yes.
does.
Yes,
Oh,
he
yeah.
does. And then
right here.
Scorpo Dusty. Yep, there's a scorpion. Backwood says I love Desert Scorpion. Cool. And then Aaron Nichols just popped in. Thanks for showing up and says I love this figure. His colors were great. Yeah, very good. Dale's still talking about Fun Zone.
I got already started on all that, I think.
Yeah. And then Wilhelm says this guy is new to me. Looks pretty badass. So that's several already.
Wow.
This show.
Yeah.
That's
Very
awesome,
cool.
man.
Christopher says Desert Scorpion's a badass figure. Enough said. Very cool.
Oh, yeah.
This is you giving the hand, talk to the hand or something. Jeff says 91. Apparently Dusty lost the cloth head cover to Desert Scorpion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Why did that later version of Dusty have no sleeves? Like, you want to talk about like getting heat stroke real quick. Expose your arms. Big Bacon says I freaking love this figure. The accessories were amazing. Sculpt is fantastic. This is one of those childhood figures that I kept until my brother threw my stuff away. Well, you better go get it. Go get it.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah,
Oh, that sucks,
sucked,
man.
Sorry to hear that. Photo Viper says I absolutely love this figure. Got to replace his backpack with the 2002 Sand Viper Robo Scorpion though.
Yeah.
Yep.
I see that.
Yep. And Carson has examples of that on 3D Joe. So if you go to 3D Joe's, go to 91, go to Desert Scorpion, he has an example of how that Robo Scorpion looks on his back, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I bet it
It's
does.
very cool.
That is cool.
And then in the caption it says, "Why did they not do this?" And then Dale Santiforth said, "Okay, they all have the standard issue outfit and weapons for the Rock Vipers." Okay, I guess you're still talking about Rock Viper. Yeah. Gaz gives a Ace Hunter thumb kiss to Desert Scorpion, which is always his seal of approval. Scorpion the size of a toy dog. It's probably bigger than a toy dog.
Yeah.
And Brian King, what's up, Brian? Says I have 2 of these complete. Very cool.
Oof. You can send one to me then.
Kirk says nothing over 90 for me. Then Aaron says I'm glad the antenna was sculpted in so you wouldn't lose it. But he has a hose, right, James? He's got a hose.
He's got a hose, yeah.
He's got a
Hoses
hose.
can be
And
replaced.
then, Simple Tricks and Nonsense. What's up, Johnny? Haven't seen you in a while, man. I'm glad you're here. And says, way to buck the snake naming scheme. I feel they had already used the appropriate snake names: Viper, Adder, Rattlesnake, Ass, Boa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I always love having Johnny around. He's always got good things to say.
Yep.
There's a lot of people talking about this. Wilhelm says, dang, it just looked on eBay.
Yep.
It's pretty expensive. Yeah.
He's hard to get.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kirk Corners talked
If
about
he's-
Metalhead. We talked about Metalhead 2 episodes ago. Sorry. And then
Desert Scorpion.
Nice.
I love it. Scuba Pete's so rad. He's so funny.
Yeah, he is.
You guys ever met him in person?
No.
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
Pete's cool as shit. Yeah, he's really cool. His wife's super nice too. Anyway, okay, so we're gonna move on. James, I got something for you.
All right, what do we got? Oh,
92
nice.
Eel version 2.
Eel.
Go ahead.
Yep. Well, I'm more of a version 3 fan, believe it or not, but version 2
I know.
is pretty cool because of the shark that comes with them.
Shark with
Although
freaking lasers.
yeah, although the back fin on the shark is almost always missing. I hate that. I actually have one missing that's on mine, but yeah, he's pretty cool. I think he looks great. I like his whole aquatic aesthetic, I guess you could call it. I like his color scheme, the blue and the yellow, and the yellow accessory, and the silver shark and all that. The shark shoots a missile. That's awesome. The card art's great on this guy. Yeah, man. I also like that red, the whole red visor thing that's over his eyes. I always thought that was really, really cool, and the 2 yellow fins that he has up here, I've always thought that was pretty awesome. So I like that it comes with flippers. I think every single figure that has to do with the water should always come with flippers. So I think that's great. So, and that's about all I got for this guy.
Dig it. Brian, what do you got for EEL version 2, 1992?
The EEL version 1 is one of the coolest figures has ever been made, period. To me, this did not work as a update to the EEL. I always used it as like a different troop class. I didn't have a name for it, but it was separate from the EEL. It was another branch of the Cobra Navy to me, because it doesn't say EEL to me. I do love the sculpt. The colors didn't quite work for me on this. Just, I don't know. I don't like the colors on this one very much. I do love the sculpt, and the Robo Shark is probably the coolest accessory that's ever been made.
Maybe we could call it the Cobra Clownfish.
Just recently got this one back in my collection. I had this one as a kid, and was able to get it complete.
Very cool. JD, you got anything for 1992 EEL version 2? Oh, look, there he is.
Yeah.
The figure's okay. This is the only case I can think of where the figure's fine, but I think its existence is really justified by the robotic shark that's included with it. This is one of those cases where I didn't have it when I was a kid, but if I had, I probably would have bought it because of the shark. That accessory is amazing. I mean, and as the spring-loaded launcher, that talk about a perfection of the gimmick, because you can hide the missile or leave the missile out, and it's still a robotic shark. And it's sad that the far inferior EEL version 3, haha, James, the far inferior EEL version 3 is made even more inferior because the exclusion of Robot Shark.
Okay, you have a point. You have a point about the shark, but as far as the whole color scheme is a little bit slightly better, and I also like the red weapons. I think go really well with them on version 3.
The version 3 is a figure I've not been able to track down yet.
If the version 3 figure had the abs painted the way this like this has the blue abs. If the version 4 figure had the abs painted purple with like the rest of it, it would have been better. But that weird mist paint app really kills it for me.
See, that's one of the things that I've been worried about trying to buy a version 3 off of eBay, because the paint is just so close. You get a lot of people that don't know what they have, and they say it's a version 3, but you look at it and it's like, is it a version 3? It looks like a version 2 color scheme to me. And I've held off on getting one just version 3 just because of that. That's one of the ones I want to have somebody either pick up for me at a convention or pick up myself in person, just to make sure it's a version 3.
Patrick calls it the Cobra Cuttlefish.
Yeah. Okay. The easiest way that I could, that you could tell these guys apart is look at the stomachs. Okay. Like the version 2 has an actual colored stomach.
Oh.
Version 3 is all yellow. It's all yellow.
Gotcha.
That's why it's
and he's like he's a darker. He's like a purple color. This guy's a blue.
Yeah, but you see people and they take really shitty pictures for their eBay.
Oh yeah, I know. It's kind of rough.
I'm not going to throw down that much money on something and find out when it shows up that it's a version 2.
Yeah, you actually want to be there and actually look at it, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the challenges of buying online.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Exactly. So we're going to look at some comments, and Drew G is saying he's an awesome guy. I'm pretty sure he's talking about Scuba Pete, and Pete is awesome. Unless he means 1992 EEL version 2, but I'm sure he's talking about Pete. And then Wilhelm says, love that helmet, and the shark is absolutely awesome. Very cool. And then Pete says he can't wait to hang out again, and I think he had a typo because I'm pretty sure he meant to say Chad. Dale says, Cobra EEL version 2, I had this figure. My grandmother gave this to me. I didn't get the figure until I had to get dreads.
Huh. Okay.
Like dreads. dressed for. I don't. Whatever. Okay.
Oh,
cool. Figure it out.
dressed from school. Okay.
Okay. And then Backwood says, eel coming with a shark. What the hell? Yeah. I mean, they take Animal Companion up a notch because it's 1992. And in the 90s, right? Do, go big or go home. So Animal Companion, that's a robot, shoots a torpedo.
Yep.
There you go.
That's pure
Checking all those 90s boxes. Aaron says, I had missed out on a lot of the early 90s or earliest figures from 83 to 85. I love they started doing new versions so I could get those characters. The eel was one of them. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's why a lot of people,
I see a lot.
they have a special place in their heart for things like Tiger Force and Python Patrol, where some of us don't. The first time they ever got their hands on these figures or vehicles was those sub teams. Yeah. And that's cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
And then Dale Santaford says, Cyber Shark comes with a freaking rocket. I want laser beams from the top of its head. Well, you can make a custom with laser beams on its head. Chris says, eel figure is cool. I like the fins up and down on this figure. Yeah, so he can cut through the water.
Yeah. Yep.
Very cool. Photo Viper, I bought him specifically for the Robo Shark, but honestly preferred version 3. There you go, James.
Yeah, purple version's way better.
Yeah. And then I didn't. And then he says, Scuba Pete says, go figure. I agree. This always struck me as another aquatic viper. Shark is da bomb.
Yeah, it just doesn't work as an eel for me.
Get it?
Da bomb.
This guy's got gems. Yeah. Jeff, I never understood the harpoon gun being the only accessory for monkey wrench. What the fuck? Oh, okay. Version 2 eel. I'm like, why are we talking about monkey wrench, man?
I think that would work.
Because he's a dreadnought, and dreadnoughts do weird shit. Ace Hunter, Gas himself says, robot shark that fires missiles out of its mouth. That's awesome. The figure, not so much. Fair enough. And I think, oh, hold on. Pendragon says, myself and Articulated Chad are going to start our own stream called When Chads Attack. Yeah, I'm game. The whole thing is just us talking excessive trash about 6-inch figures. I'm in, man. Let's do it. Yeah. We'll call That's it cool. Chatting with Chads. Talking shit about 6-inch Joes. Paracilla says robot shark with a frickin' missile shooting out of its mouth. Yeah, everybody's all about the robo shark. Very cool.
Yeah.
And then Dan Jammins here. What's up? Says torpedo shark over frickin' laser shark? Question mark. Depends.
Yes.
I don't know. No? Yes? Maybe. All right. So now we're going to move on. We got 2 left in the main figure spotlight, and then we're going to get into something else. And here we go. Create-A-Cobra, 1993. So this is the Hasbro Direct mail order. Right? And you're going to see a couple of Hasbro Direct mail orders, and this is something that before Kirk Bazigian came back as a head of Boys Toys, like he really spearheaded the whole Hasbro Direct thing. And these all carried over, you know, with the catalogs and all that stuff. So Create-A-Cobra built off the 1989 Targat body with the 91 Crimson Guard Immortal head. Who wants to go first? Create-A-Cobra.
It's pink. It's amazing. How could you not just stare at it? Just behold.
Live from the top of the stairs. Here's JD. Go ahead, JD.
I don't just look at that figure. I have no idea what the fuck they were thinking when they designed it, but they did something very, very right or very, very wrong. I'm not sure which, but it is amazing to behold. I have never owned that figure.
Yeah.
I do not want to give up any internal organs in order to afford one. So I will likely never own one. But this figure, it's almost, it's so insane. It's so ugly. It's impossible not to love. My buddy KR Customs did a modern update of it a few years ago using the whole color scheme. He didn't darken it. He didn't make it more subtle as some customs do. He used the bright colors, which inspired me to make my own out of Real American Hero parts, with the same color scheme, it gave me a whole new appreciation for a figure that I've never owned, but I sorely wish I did.
Nice. James, what do you got? Create-A-Cobra.
Oh man, kind of like what JD was saying. I pretty much agree with almost pretty much everything about what JD said. Especially with the whole you have to sell an organ to even afford this figure. I mean, he's so freaking expensive. He's such a cool looking figure. I would love to own one someday, but he's just so expensive. It's probably never in my cards. I think the cheapest that you have to put down for this figure on not even one in the best shape, it's going to be at least $300-$400, right?
I haven't seen him for less than $5.
So it's just it's not really. Huh?
I haven't seen him for less than $500.
Oh, okay, well, yeah. So he's even more expensive than I even thought. So I'm probably never going to own one. He looks great though. I love to look at him on the screen. But yeah, it's just one of those figures that are far away. I'm never going to own it. So whatever.
I love Patrick. Patrick's like, this was actually a thing. Yeah, man, Create-A-Cobra. It's the Cobra answer to Steel Brigade, which fucking spoiler alert, Steel Brigade's next, right? That being said, here's a weird thing about collecting toys and whatever in general. If you can justify it, you're going to do it, right? So the modern Bat version 2 Commander, which is now called version 1.8, that thing loose is $400.
Oh man,
right?
Wow.
And so James, when you were like, oh, I haven't seen one of these for less than $300-$400, I'm like, so you know what I mean? Like I'm buying figures from not even 10 years ago that are that much.
Yeah.
But but as soon as Brian said 5, I was like, oh, 5. Well, I won't pay 5. I'll pay 4, but I won't pay 5. I always find that funny that, I'll scoff at one, but not at the other. Yeah, but there he is. Brian, take it away. What do you got?
This is one of those figures I didn't know was a thing until the internet existed.
Really?
Yeah. No, I didn't. I had no idea about this figure at all.
That's why they're so expensive, right?
Yeah.
Because it was a mail direct, and it was flew under the radar. Yep,
completely. I lived in a pretty small town, didn't see a lot of mail order stuff just because I didn't get all of the figures. I dig what they did. I like the colors. I like the parts that they used. It's a shame that it's so expensive. I really dig the Cobra Coils convention figure that they repainted this in. I think that's a phenomenal figure as well.
Yup. That all you got?
Yeah.
Create-A-Cobra?
Yeah, pretty much. I've never seen one, never had one, never held one.
I like because that's how they did it. They were like, oh, we'll take this torso and we'll take these arms and we'll take this head and boom, there you go. I like the Targat and the Crimson Guard Immortal. I like the flow. I think the black looks good throughout. As far as a creative figure, if you put this next to the next figure that we're going to talk about, which is, of course, Steel Brigade, I think it definitely misses the mark compared to Steel Brigade. It's not bad, but I don't get the fuck out of here. It's not bad, but I don't think it's great. He's just like, no, I won't get out of here. I work here. You can't make me. All right, let's we're gonna look at some comments about Create-A-Cobra. And I'm gonna back up because people just went nuts. James, what's up, James? So James says I collected Joe from '82 until the end when I was way too old to be in the toy aisle in college. I mean, yeah, same. I love this version of Eel. So he's talking about the Eel version too, but I wanted to share his comment because we had already moved on. And then Pendragon says about Create-A-Cobra, he says the helmet's pretty dope, a bit techno Viper-ish. Yeah, Crimson Guard Immortal. I can see that.
I can see that.
Backwoods calls him Mr. Barbie. And then everybody's saying hey to James. What's up, James? I love this comment. I was laughing about this as you guys were talking. So Pendragon says they were thinking, what if Bubblegum came to life, copped an attitude, started shooting decent citizens? There you go. I love it.
That's got me thinking of the line from They Live. where Roddy Piper says, I'm here to
chew bubble gum and kick ass
and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum. That's where the bubble gum went to. It became a Cobra.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I love the way you put that, JD.
Yes, thank you. Paracilla says Pepto-Bismol Viper.
Yeah.
Photo Viper says, don't have him, never wanted him, now he's too pricey. Yep. Yeah, exactly. And then Chris says, great idea at the time, the colors not so much. Do you guys think that the colors were different? People would have a different perception of the Create-A-Cobra now?
Yeah, I mean, look at how many people want that Cobra Coils figure. It's green and black, and it's a nice looking figure in those colors.
Yeah. And then Aaron says, check out his gun. I didn't know they did a Cobra version of Steel Brigade. Sure did. And never had a Steel Brigade either until I got a Valaverse one from Chad. Oh, I did send you one, didn't I? Yep. James says, always loved the Targat body, and the ability to make my own Cobra was awesome, but Steel Brigade was better. Weird.
Nah.
Pendragon, if you didn't know this figure and just saw it in the wild, you'd be certain it was a Venezuelan knockoff of something.
Yeah, I can
Fair
see
enough.
that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And next, gentlemen, we're going to move on to the last figure before we get into something else. And that is 92 Steel Brigade version 2 Gold Head Hasbro direct mail order. Me, in my opinion, I saved the best for last because I frickin' love Steel Brigade and I love this version of Steel Brigade. There he is. So this is the ad, and then there's your Combat Command file card where you fill all your shit out and you put in there like, this is what I want him to be. And, you know, like some 8-year-old kid's like, I want him to be good at Kung Fu and I want him to be good at computers and math and whatever stupid shit. There he is right there. Brian, go first.
Steel Brigade was another one of the mail-aways that I didn't get because I lived in a real small town. So I missed a lot of the steel. Somehow just most of the mail order stuff flew under my radar where I lived. So I didn't, again, one of the figures didn't know it was a thing until the internet existed. I love the concept. I do like the gold head on this one, but I like the color scheme of the version 1 for the body better.
Yeah,
so
the light blue.
Yeah. I've done a Steel Brigade custom that I was happy with, and I actually used this color scheme for the body with the silver helmet, and it works really well. I don't know what I was thinking. I must have been drunk at the time, but I do like the Steel Brigade. It's just I'm sad that I missed it. My first Steel Brigade figure was the direct-to-consumer 6-pack that came out in what year was that? Maybe 2009?
2006, I think.
2006. Okay. And I really enjoyed those figures because they had removable helmets too.
Yeah.
Yep. All the modern ones. JD, what do you got for Steel Brigade? Version 2.
I love
He's frozen again.
the Steel Brigade. I love the concept. I love the design. I love the parts. The Steel Brigade is phenomenal. I never had this version. I had the original version. Waiting for that to show up in the mail, longest 8 weeks of anybody's life ever, I'm pretty sure. This version I didn't have. I knew this version existed because the catalogs and the stuff that was packed with the figures at the time had the same order that had always been available, but this version was pictured. They had replaced it, but I never got a chance to order one, and I really wish I had, because by that point, I didn't have my original Steel Brigade figure anymore, so this would have been a great replacement. The gold helmet's cool. I like the bolder green color. I feel like the blue is a little bit more Cobra than Joe, but this Pandora, she need to visit.
Very cool.
I think I don't know. I might prefer version 1, but there's nothing bad to say about this one. What a great figure. I wish I had one. Talk about expensive, though. I think this thing is just as expensive or more than Cobra is. I saw somebody online the other day asking one of the Joe groups if they had just the patch that came with this figure, and they were offering like $300.
Wow.
Yeah, they did a lot of variations on the patch.
This is one crazy expensive.
Yeah.
James, version 2 Steel Brigade. What do you got?
I've never really seen what the whole fascination was about him. I don't know. I mean, I guess he's an okay looking figure. I realize why he's expensive, because he was a mail away. There's not too many of them around.
Yeah.
So I can understand why you're going to pay some extra money for him, a lot of extra money for him, I guess. But I just never really liked this figure. I do like his gun, the machine gun that he comes with. I like his helmet a little bit, but I don't really like anything else about him, to be honest. I just don't like the colors. I don't like the dark blue. I don't even like the patch. The way that the patch looks. Yeah. So that's just me. I'm just gonna be a downer.
Fucking Debbie Downer. You're breaking my heart, man. You don't like this figure?
No, I'm sorry. I don't. I just don't.
Oh, well, I should have saved Eel version 2 for the last, or Eel version 3. Look at that, man. It's Steel Brigade.
I'm sorry.
I can gush all over Steel Brigade all day.
Plus, I never had one when I was a kid, so it's like there's no personal
value.
kind of there's no nostalgia value whatsoever with this guy. So
that's okay, but I think Steel Brigade is the ultimate army builder, just done right, and that's just my opinion. I mean, we all have our own opinions, but I love this figure. I love every version of the Steel Commander, or the Steel Brigade, like the Commander, the Delta, every version, every variant, the modern ones. Like, man, I go hard in the frickin' paint for Steel Brigades. I have dozens and dozens of them. I love them. But
that's cool.
That's just me. I always saw Steel Brigade as kind of the answer to the Crimson Guard, especially since they have the bayonet on their rifle.
Yeah, I can see that.
To me, it always seemed like a direct contrast to the Crimson Guard. But anyway, there we go. That's the last of our figures that we're going to highlight.
But I like it.
Yeah, that's the last of the figures that we're going to highlight for the army builders, at least. And let me see what people are saying about Steel Brigade version 2. I'm gonna back up because it just kind of went nuts. We had a couple people jump in, and everybody's saying, "Hey," and then as we were getting off of the Create-A-Cobra, James says he was perfect for Neon Time. I have 2 of my collection since my bro and I both did one. That's very cool. Pendragon says I can get behind the Steel Brigade figure, and then says the color scheme, while highly saturated, is very well balanced, especially with the ground and contrast of all the black. Chris says Steel Brigade looks great. I wish she had a camouflage outfit instead. The modern Delta is a lot more subdued. I kind of like that one. And then Photo Viper says, also not a fan. Grunt was my green shirt army builder. Okay, fair enough.
Right on, man.
When they came out with that Walmart retro 4-inch line, which they probably shouldn't have called retro because everyone was expecting O-rings, I bought so many of those grunts just to swap heads and use them as army builders, so I can totally get behind that. Dale says, I love the idea of Steel Brigade where you can join G.I. Joe. The weapon's really cool. Wish it came with a shotgun too. I remember seeing this in Marvel comic. Always wanted one. Yeah. And that was kind of the thing that with the Steel Brigade and the Create-A-Cobra is you could make yourself a Joe or a Cobra. And that was a pretty neat idea that they did that.
Yeah.
Scuba Pete would love to find any Steel Brigade, but version 2 is just fucking badass. Yeah, he is. Backwood says the only mail away that I had was the refrigerator Perry. And then Hey, James. Ratface44 James just decided to show up. What's up,
James?
Other James. And then Christopher just got here too. So very cool. And then Patrick says, I forgot they did a 30th anniversary version. I do have that one. Yeah, they did several variants in the modern designs of Steel Brigades. You all right there, James?
Yeah.
And then Pendragon says, this is the only figure we've seen tonight that I would actually add to my collection. Ooh, take it. I'll take that. Brian says, I always wanted a Steel Brigade, but never got to get one. Did you all talk about Flak Vipers? Wait one. Stand by. There's so many Army builders. We only highlighted so many, and a lot of them are going to be in honorable mentions. So you just have to stick around. James is talking to Pete. And Pendragon says the helmet is Slipstream crossed with the Star Wars Stormtrooper. I guess I could kind of see it. It's got that little muzzle thing going on. And then James says, my brother's Steel Brigade codename from version 2 is Trax. Pretty cool. Ratface James, who's probably more handsome than any of us, says Steel Brigade is dope as shit. Yep. Patrick needs a Steel Brigade Delta, and we are caught up. Cool. All right. So I'm going to actually do something new that James and I were talking about doing on the stream, and we're going to do a community spotlight. So our friend John Earl, he does this thing every year that he calls Jovember, and he draws sketches of figures all November long. So if you know John Earl, you can look on his Facebook. And
he does a lot of really good work.
Yes.
I really like his art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
he really does.
So we're going to start adding a community spotlight because there's a lot of people doing a lot of good 90s stuff. James and I have a good buddy, Danny, and he does a lot of awesome 90s Joe stuff too. Between Danny and John, they kind of motivated us to do a community spotlight on the show. And here's John's Facebook page for anybody who doesn't know John. You can go look him up. And I am actually going to
He's seriously like one of the coolest guys that you could ever talk to.
While I'm at it.
He's a great guy.
While I'm at it, if you guys want to check him out, there, I just threw his Facebook link in the chat for anybody who wants to see it. So John did this sketch of the 1990 Rock Viper.
That's pretty badass.
And so I threw Carson's picture in there because, I mean, look at it, right? It's really awesome.
Yeah.
But there's John's art of the Rock Viper. And then there is his 91 Desert Scorpion, which is a great, that's a great picture of him where he's kind of coming out of the sand.
Yeah, I like how that sand's just rolling out.
That's freaking awesome.
Great. And he had so many, like I could have just kept going and going and going. But I mean, this stream's already 2 hours and 5 minutes. And like, you know, it's Army builders, right? It's going to be a while. So there's his Desert Scorpion. And then there's his 92 Eel version 2 with the Robo Shark.
Fuck. Hey.
Yeah. Great art.
That is so
and
cool.
Hans, if you're still with us, man, if you want to sketch up some 90s stuff, man, I'll do a community spotlight on YouTube.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Very cool. Really awesome art. So yeah, so that's John Earl. And then if you guys want to go check him out, like I said, I threw his link in there. And then
he does some great stuff.
Yeah. And then Pendragon's that's mine because it jumped. Pendragon said, I literally sketched 12 Joes today. Well, let's see him, dude.
Nice.
Other Chad, let's see him, buddy. And then Pendragon also said John did some awesome stuff for Operation Recall too. Yes, he absolutely did.
Oh, cool. I did not know that. That's cool.
Yep. Oh, and then Tony Romo's here. What's up, Tony? He says, evening, gents from Toys and Figs. Good to see you, man.
What's up?
Glad you popped in. Cool. All right. So that's John Earl's art. So once again, I'm just going to throw it all up. So we got 90 Rock Viper, 91 Desert Scorpion, and 92 Eel version 2, all from John Earl. Very cool.
Nice.
Very cool.
Now,
fucking amazing.
Swear it on my channel. So now we're going to get into honorable mentions. We're going to do this a little rapid fire because there's as many honorable mentions as there are figures that we've already talked about. All right, so we're just gonna cruise through it. You guys got some comments? Let's hear them. So I'm starting honorable mentions off with my favorite bad guy army builder ever. James, you remember who it is?
Oh man. Oh yeah, I remember. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Headhunter stormtroopers.
Headhunter Stormtrooper is my favorite. I don't even want to call him enemy team or Cobra, right? Because he's kind of not. But look at this figure, man.
It's badass.
Fuck, I love this figure. Like, I try to not F-bomb too much, but Headhunter Stormtrooper, the biggest miss with any of the modern construction Joe stuff is they did not make a Headhunter Stormtrooper.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Like, completely egregious, unforgivable. Why didn't you make a Headhunter Stormtrooper?
Yep.
I would love to see them do one in classified scale, even though I don't care for 6-inch. I would buy it.
We've talked about him on our show, and I've said that this is my favorite sculpted figure of the line.
Yeah. He's
God,
just
so
awesome.
good with the spikes.
Yeah.
Love him.
Spikes all over
Freaking love
all over his body.
Yeah.
And I didn't do figure shots. I just did
Great.
card for
Black
everybody.
and the gold.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And it's that dark gray. Like, the gray is so perfect on him, and he just has like that crimson goggles. They're not bright red. They're like a crimson red, almost like
Version
a
2
oxblood.
convention figure is awesome too.
Yeah. Somebody just mentioned him in the chat too, but it already cruised by. So, all right, Headhunter Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He was one of my very first group giveaways, actually, for the G.I. Joe 1990 to 1994 group. Way back in March or April, I think it was. I actually just recently opened up that package, and I just decided, well, screw it, I'm just going to give this figure away. And he was one of the very first. Yeah, he was one of the very first ones to. And actually, Clinton Laporte is the one that won it. So
you should have given his ass to me, jerk. Anyway, moving on. Headhunter Stormtrooper. Here we go. 1991, Crimson Guard Immortal.
Yep.
Awesome.
I just
Honorable mention.
picked up one of these myself recently. I had it as a
Fuck,
kid.
I love this figure.
Yeah.
Love this figure.
I played
Awesome figure.
with the shit out of this when I was a kid.
And then the file card, right? The Immortals are lawyers or accountants who pump iron, wear body armor, and carry big guns. What they can't get by stomping and shooting, they'll get by suing and auditing. Like, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, no,
It's just so good, man. And then our buddy Jason Packard, he mains this costume for the Finest, which I also belong to, the Finest G.I. Joe Costume Club. And that is a fantastic costume. I know a lot of people in the chat have seen Jason's Crimson Guard Immortal.
Yeah,
costume.
I've seen it. It's phenomenal.
I mean, the helmet especially.
So
He did.
good.
I mean, just great work on that.
Oh, it's such a good figure. Yeah, Jason's
yeah.
costume's great. The figure itself is awesome. JD, what do you got live from the top of the stairs? You got anything from this guy?
Yeah, this figure's amazing. This figure took everything about the Crimson Guard that I was always kind of meh on the original about and defined it. I love. It got a shit modern update. And it was a tragically bad modern update.
Which
that
is more
just made
expensive
me
than
look
the
at this
vintage
one and say, yep, it really can't be topped.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
I really
what? Where'd you go?
No, I think we lost JD again.
Okay, well, he's gonna work it out. He's gonna work it out.
all right, there you go. Sorry. Yeah, it's lag.
Okay, well, your time's up. Go ahead.
This figure is amazing. I really wish I could replace the childhood one I had, but I don't.
Holy shit,
Time's up.
JD. I love you, dude. But like, it's just like you fucking freeze for a minute, and then when you unfreeze, you're saying the same shit you were saying when you before you froze. Fuck, dude. Time's up.
Man.
I'm gonna put you on an egg
love it,
timer.
Can't help it.
I love you. And then Ratface James is asking if I can zoom in on a figure. It's a slideshow, so no, I can't. I don't know which figure you were talking about. But you can go to 3djoes.com and look at them yourself. So thanks again, Carson, for the images. And now we're going to move on from Crimson Guard Immortal. And we are going 1990 Undertow Iron Grenadier. Anybody? JD, why don't you go? You want to talk about Undertow?
I wish he had an Iron Grenadier's color scheme. Instead, he's very Christmassy. But otherwise, the sculpt's amazing.
Gray.
And he's got a pet barracuda. Who doesn't love that? So, yeah, great figure.
Well, see, barracudas are
great.
They're attracted to shiny
Great
objects. So if he had gold on him, yeah, sorry. Cool.
This is true.
Brian, Undertow.
Everything about this figure is win. This is one of the ones that I have the version 1. I'm still hunting down the red one, and I have the rare Pepsodent mail away.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And then I still need
That's
the
cool.
2002 blue one. So I'm just a couple short on having all of the variations on this one. I love this figure as a kid. I think to me this was the update of the eel. Except that it was Iron Grenadier, so I kind of see this, but this is what I imagined an eel update would look like.
With the gray and red reversed. Yeah, it's very cool. James, you got anything for the Undertow?
Yeah, I think it's just an awesome all-around great figure. I especially love his accessories. I love the barracuda that he comes with. Although you can't really do much with it, but it's there. It's cool. It's neat looking. I like his
throw it.
Yeah, I guess you could throw it. You could throw it at somebody's head and lob them in the face. Or anyway, I like the card art. I think it's great. I like the whatchamacallit that he's on the card art. I can't remember what it's called, but it's some kind of that. And I think it's pretty neat. It has like a missile that comes on, there's like a missile that's under it. A torpedo, yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's a cool figure. I've always liked him. I've never owned him when I was a kid. I never had him, but as an adult, I've owned him several different times. So yeah, cool,
very cool. All right, so that's Undertow, and remember this is honorable mention, so we're just kind of cruising through them. Otherwise, this is going to be a 4-hour stream. And then we're moving on to. I love the figure. I love the idea of the figure. I don't really love the gimmick. So it's a 91 version 3 Viper Sonic Fighters. Anybody? Look at that big ass card.
Yeah, I love it. I picked up one of these earlier this summer. Finally, I've done a custom of this. This is one of those ones that you got to be really careful with because of the gold plastic syndrome.
Yep, 100%. James, what do you think?
Exactly what Brian is saying. I mean, if any figure that's made with like gold plastic, you got to be careful with them because they'll break apart. You just cough or sneeze around them, and they're just going to break apart. Very brittle. He's a really cool looking figure. He's my favorite Viper out of all the different Vipers. I've always liked him the most. I've always liked the Sonic gimmick, with his backpack. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I dig. The paint apps, the color scheme on this Viper is freaking awesome. And the modern one, I love him. I love the modern one. They nailed that metallic on the modern one. Oh, it's so good. Here we go. Moving on. Crimson Guard Commander 1993. Kind of looks like Slice put like big kid clothes on and took off his breakdancing pants. Look at this freaking guy. He's back again. What's up, dude?
Oh,
like a bad day. Just keep turning up.
Yeah. I can't wait to watch this back, man. It's gonna be so terrible. JD, you got anything for Crimson Guard Commander 1993?
The sculpted chest emblem is awesome. The rest of this figure, it's not a good commander for the Crimson Guard. It looks more like it belonged with the Headhunters. And no particular feelings on this one.
I could see that with the face sculpt. Yeah, Brian, you got anything for him?
I picked this. This is another one I picked up recently. I love the sculpt. I think everything about it is fantastic. I do not see this in any relation to the Crimson Guard at all. I would have liked to seen this in red and silver and see what it looked like, but I see this as either a troop builder or an officer of some sort that for a different troop class. Nothing about this says Crimson Guard to me, but I love the figure.
Dig it. James, Mr. Neon Defender, what do you got?
Yeah, honestly, I'd have to say this is a really cool looking figure. I love the sculpt. Love the all the bright the colors on it. I do like the black accessories. Yeah, I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. He has nothing to me. He has nothing to do with the Crimson Guard. I'm going to have to go with JD and Brian on that. I really don't see any correlation with him and the Crimson Guard, but I guess they just kind of threw that title on there for him. But he looks like a really cool figure. He's one that I've never had, but I would love to have someday. So.
Here's a good comment that Photo Viper makes. I don't know if you guys can see the comments, but he says he's neat, but Tomax and Zaymart were the real commanders.
Yeah,
right? Exactly. So
they're
in charge of the Crimson Guards, all the friends,
I think
so they
more
funded
of a commander, maybe.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, and moving on. Just because we're talking army builders, I would be remiss if we didn't bring this guy up. A figure I really had to warm up to. But once I got there, I really got there. 1991 version 2 Battle Android Trooper. James, what do you got?
Oh yeah, he's probably my favorite bat out of all the bats. I actually have a couple of them. Of course, their emblems are missing. They're almost always missing on these guys because they're just basically a sticker. Yeah, it's basically just a sticker. It just comes right off. So it's really it's easy to to lose. I love the accessories. I like the backpack with the missile launcher, and it can also hold his hands or his other accessory. Yeah, he's a really cool figure. My favorite bat. That's about it.
Very cool. James says Neon Bats rock. The modern version of this, which is not version 2, it's version 1.8, is expensive as shit.
Yeah, I want one of those.
Brian, you got anything for him?
Yeah, where I saw where the version 2 eel was not an update of the original eel, the version 2 bat is a very, very good update of the original bat. It's streamlined. It's put together. It looks like Cobra's we need to update this, and they did it, and they did it well. I think my only nitpick on this is, if I remember right, only one of the arms is removable.
I don't remember. Yeah. Is that true, James?
Yeah, it is. It is true.
I can't pull one out to look, so I'm sorry.
This is number 2 on my yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. This is number 2 on my wish list right now, right behind Desert Scorpion.
Very cool. JD, you got anything brief for Bat version 2?
I don't really care about bats in general. I like the idea of the Android Troopers, but the bats, meh. But I love this bat. This bat perfectly represents what I think the bat would have been. I just look at the original sculpt and big bulbous head.
What's up?
It's wearing clothes for reasons I don't understand. But that's sweet.
That's sweet.
My wife will not get on a show with us.
She's in a robe too. I was like, she came to say hi to James, and I'm like looking at her. I'm like, wearing fucking clothes. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I can't.
Anyway, so JD doesn't like bats. I'm gonna kick JD off. So
yeah,
bye, JD. Okay, bye. I'm just kidding, dude.
Wait 5 minutes. The internet will go out anyways. So, yeah. No, Bat version 2 is awesome, but Bat version 1, So.
I'd have to agree with you, JD. I'm not a version 1 Bat fan whatsoever.
Shut the hell up. Okay, moving on. So 91 Sky Creeper Air Commandos. Since we were talking about Air Commandos, I threw him in an honorable mention. So there you go.
This is another one that I picked up recently, and I didn't. So you were talking about, do you need the accessories to have a cool figure? And this is the one where I'm like, you know what? I don't need the accessories. I need the figure.
Yeah.
So this is one I picked up. I love the sculpt. I love this like pissed off expression. This is something. This is one that I want to do a custom of, but I haven't decided on what parts for. But yeah, this is I love this figure.
I like the really heavily padded legs.
Yeah,
on him. I really like it. And the shirt collar too, like the way that they molded that, it's great.
Yeah.
Great. I'm not necessarily like head over heels for the figure, but you know, the molding, the sculpt, like the attention to it, I'll definitely I'll give that to him. James, Sky Creeper.
Yeah, I'm more like you, Chad. I really don't. I mean, it's a cool figure. I love the mean expression on his face and all that. I don't like all the yellow that's on him, all the bright yellow. It seems like he has more bright yellow than what an Eel version 2 has, even. But I just don't. I mean, yellow is probably my least favorite color. So, but as far as everything else, he's a cool looking figure. He has a great sculpt, you know, and I like how his pants are padded, you know, because obviously you would need to wear something like that if you're on a glider. If you, you know, I don't know if you crash or I don't know, but. He's just yeah. I would probably give him like a. Yeah, exactly. I would probably give him like a 7 out of 10. You know.
Dig it.
That's about it.
JD, you got anything for Sky Creeper?
Yeah, I really wish this figure was sculpted so it looked like it was wearing ice skates, because this is the angriest Cobra Trooper hockey player ever. This
Cobra
guy,
hockey goalie.
Yes, all he needs is more of like a Jason Voorhees mask instead of like the helmet that looks like he's ready to run into walls like off of a catapult. And this would be like if Cobra had a hockey team, this guy is the goalie. I love the design of this figure. It's obnoxious, but it's awesome
obnoxious
because the details are phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the fucking Exorcist ghost in your house, like annoying but awesome. All right, moving on. Okay, so carded is the version 2 of this figure, so it's actually carded, whereas before it came with a vehicle, and we're talking about 1991 Lampreys version 2 Sonic Fighter. Brian, what you got?
I dig it. This is another one that I picked up earlier this summer. I love Lampreys. Lampreys was. I remember getting the Moray as a kid and loved everything about that. The Lamprey was cool. I think I didn't have this one as a kid, but I have this as like a kind of a Lamprey officer, basically.
Yeah, and that's what they made him in the modern version.
Yeah,
ridiculously expensive.
Yes,
like I finally just sucked it up, bought one, put it in my Moray, left it there. And every time I would see it, I'd be like, man, I paid a shitload of money just to put him in the cockpit of a vehicle. Ridiculous. Yeah. James, you got anything for him?
Yeah, he's probably my favorite Lamprey and probably my favorite Sonic Fighter. Besides, the Viper one, the gold head one. I think he just looks great. He just looks. I mean, I like the colors that's used on him. I like. Of course, I've always liked the Sonic. Accessories, the backpack and all that.
Yeah.
I think he looks great. He's just an awesome look. He's just awesome. Without going into too much detail, I'm just going to say, I'd definitely give him a 9 out of 10.
I think he's a great figure. I think the colors work really well. I think he looks good in the Moray as well. JD, what do you got?
Lamprey version 1 is one of my favorite army builders from the line, and this guy is a bright orange, awesome update to a great sculpt. It's kind of, I liken it to being like a rescue diver version. Like if the Moray gets shot and is sinking, these guys are gonna come out, so the Morays that are treading water will see them coming. This is a fucking great update.
Very cool. Yeah. And then Chris says, I want one. I will not pay a lot for it, which, yep, there you go. Cool.
They're really
And,
not that
moving
they're
on.
not that expensive, really.
Yeah, no,
I think he might be talking about the modern one.
Yeah, if you skip the accessories, you can get them.
Yeah, because these are only like $15 for just the figure, really. So it's
Yeah.
not. It's not.
He
that
might be
expensive.
talking about how I was mentioning the modern one.
Okay, yeah.
Because that modern one is an exclusive and he's freaking stupid expensive.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
And then somebody in the chat asked and you shall receive, because James and I and all of our guests aim to please. Here you go. 1992 Flak Viper.
Yep.
Oh,
James,
yeah.
go.
Oh, he's one of my favorite army builders. Honestly, I like him and version 2. But you know, we're talking about this one, so I'm just going to talk about him. I love his colors. I love the whole, you know, the whole flak aspect of it. His backpack shoots missiles, you know, coming out of it. That would be. I could see that being dangerous for like his neck and his head, but he is wearing
I
a
don't
helmet.
give a shit. I don't care.
But he just looks super cool. I've always thought of him as like a badass, and I have quite a few of them. So
Very cool. JD, Flak Viper.
This figure is fucking awesome. I love this figure when I was a kid. I love this figure now. He's big, he's burly, he's badass. I mean, he's one of the only figure sculpts that honestly looks like he's built to carry a missile system on his back. Like, this ain't no thing to him. He is actually, this guy looks like he might be able to pull the weapon off the Cobra Paralyzer and just fucking use it in the middle of the field.
Yeah. I love his backpack.
Yeah, this is one amazing figure.
Yeah. Brian?
I remember getting this one as a kid. This one is all pure win for me. I love this figure. I've done a custom of this, and it's again one of my favorite customs.
I think I've seen that one actually.
Yeah, the version 2 of this seems unnecessary, but the version 3 from the Flaming Moth series is a phenomenal figure. And then the version 4, which is actually called the Nullifier version 3, is also really cool in the dark blue and black. Everything about this figure is fucking awesome. It's like JD said, I can't say any better than that.
Cool. I dig it. All right, moving on. 1992. Headhunters. Brian? What do you
I had this one as a kid, and I loved it until the Headhunter Stormtrooper came out, and then I was like,
right.
So it's cool. I dig the leather. I think the color scheme works phenomenal. I love the version 2. But man, when the Headhunter Stormtrooper came out, I just like, what is this? I don't know what this is anymore.
You know, it's kind of like the James, I'm going to do it. It's probably going to irritate you, but talking about Star Wars and the Empire Strikes Back line, and they came out with that Hoth Trooper, and they got the Hoth Trooper, and everybody's using Hoth Trooper as Hoth Luke. And then when Hoth Luke comes out, they're like, later Hoth Trooper, and they just chucked him. Right? They just got rid of him. So yeah. Headhunter, James, what do you got for the man with the ascot?
Well, honestly, I don't like anything about this figure. Except for his accessories. I just don't like this. I don't like the figure sculpt. I don't like the colors. I don't like anything about the figure. I do like the accessories.
Wow.
And that's about all I got. I give him a ball. I give him like a 4 out of 10.
Wow.
Well, JD's pissed at you, so JD, why don't you go?
No, I'm not pissed. I'm befuddled.
I'm befuddled.
I just
Vocabulary. No, we love it.
This guy is cool.
I'm full of
shit.
surprises.
You know what? He reminds me of the bad guys from RoboCop. Like, he's got the same essence about him, other than the mirrored head. Everything. If you put individual heads on these guys, you could make the thugs from RoboCop. And they're perfect enforcers for a drug dealer. Then, this figure is awesome, and he comes with the coolest shotgun sculpt in the line.
A little sawed off.
Yeah.
I mean, this figure,
I do like that.
This figure's awesome. The lime green repaint was weird, but yeah, this figure's great.
Well, that's not going to make
the expansion one was pretty cool.
And I want to throw these comments up, but I didn't want to cut you off, JD, while you were talking. So Chris says Mad Max look with the figure, very
Yes, there you
cool.
go.
And then Photo Viper says these headhunters are dope, and they'll sell you some too.
Nice.
Okay, moving on. So talking about repaints, talking about Hasbro Direct mail order. And then hold on real quick because my dear friend Zazel threw up a comment and I want to check it out. Anyone made a Headman joke yet?
No.
Would anyone like to make a Headman joke?
No.
I'm good. Low hanging fruit. Head, get it? Low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, man. So moving on, this figure is kind of crazy. I'm not the biggest fan, but I would be remiss. Direct mail order 92 Cobra Ninja Viper. Anybody?
Just one of
What?
the only
Don't have.
the only real American hero specialty Viper I do not own. That's all I got.
Sorry, I gotta
Well,
look.
He's basically just a repaint of like Storm Shadow, like version 1 Storm Shadow. So I mean,
100%.
It's really cool though. I do like his colors, the updated like colors and everything. The teal or some kind of a green. Or I mean,
Yeah, it's steel.
yeah, and I think that's really cool. I don't like how expensive it is.
Priscilla
And
says
it's really
Blue
one
Shadow.
figure that he's just too expensive for me. I'll probably never own him. So he's cool, but it's like it's something I really don't care that much about.
Yeah, I mean, I put it up there because A, it's an army builder, it's 92, and B, it's another Hasbro Direct. So I put that up there. And then Brian says that his didn't come with swords.
That's weird.
Yeah, a lot of them didn't come with swords. Some of them came with one sword. Some of them came with two swords.
Oh wow,
Gotta back up.
that's disappointing.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, if you, Brian King, if you look on 3djoes.com, Carson has examples of how they came on that red card back with the Chinese bag. And you could see that some came with two swords that were individually wrapped. Some came with two swords loose. Some came with one. Some came with none. So you can see all that.
Wow.
Probably
So
not
they
a
pretty
you
much
thing.
threw them all together and said, "Here, have it."
Pretty
There.
much.
Fuck
What
you.
do you
here's your
want
figure.
from what do you want from a 6-year-old that's packing these things in China?
Yeah.
JD, what do you got for this figure?
Wow, I don't even know how to follow up that comment.
Child labor.
I
It's
mean,
funny.
I'm of the belief that there's no such thing as too many ninjas, more ninjas, more ninjas. I like this figure. I remember seeing this in the catalog thinking, how come they never repainted Storm Shadow before this? Now that said, I didn't send away for one. I've never owned one. And I don't own any property, but if I did, I wouldn't be willing to sell it in order to afford this figure. But it's an awesome figure that is, I think its rarity is mythical status at this point.
You know what's funny? Speaking of which, one of the vendors at Joe Fest.
I was just going to mention that.
Yeah. Were you there this year? Did you see him? Yeah.
No, but
Kokomo Joe-
KR Customs.
Oh
was
yeah,
there
he had
and
like
was
50 of them.
pictures for me.
dozens and dozens, just one whole glass
No,
face
not
case. Just
Kokomo.
Yeah,
Romo.
insane,
Romo, thank
insane
you.
amount of money.
yeah, Roma Toys, and then
Roma
he
Toys,
just
yeah.
had a giant case full of them. And
Yeah.
every time I would do the loop, there'd be a couple less, and there'd be a couple less, and a couple less. Yeah, Roma Collectibles. That's who it was.
Yeah.
How much was he charging?
Dozens.
Because
He was
I
charging
can't.
based on what the condition was and what accessories they came
Yeah,
with.
they varied. They varied, but you
Yeah.
can see
I
people they were just digging.
I didn't see that picture from the show. And in fact, this picture with three of them, that is the most I've ever seen a picture of in one place. Because even people that army build, I knew people that had this figure back way before they were super expensive. A friend of mine had one, and he was the only kid kid I ever knew who had one, and to this day, he's one of the few people I know who ever owned one. What a great figure. That is stupid expensive.
Yeah,
I got a
about one from Roma. I was on the fence about having him get one for me that didn't have any accessories, but yeah, it's just a little too much for me.
I got a shot of the case.
He had like 20 in that case, I think.
A shitload, yeah. But I got a shot of the case in my Joe Fest. In my Joe Fest video, I got a shot of the case, so you can check it out. And okay, last honorable mention, James. This is for you because I love you. You know I love you.
I know you do.
Viper.
Oh yeah.
So Bio Vipers were eels. Right?
I love
and
this
Monstro Vipers, right? Were something else. So go ahead, Bio Viper. What do you got? 93.
He's just so. I mean, he's just so freaking awesome, and the most like 1993 neon GI Joe kind of a way. You can't get any more than that with this figure. I mean, it's just. I mean, he's got everything going. I mean, he's huge. He's got he's part of the Maker Vipers, and he's a big alien monster. That has to fight. He's fighting the Mega Marines. He's just super cool. Plus, he's got like some gimmicks where you can press something in his back, and his claws will like go like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a mutated
claws,
cobra eel.
They're called like
tentacles.
That.
Tentacles.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Ryan?
I dig this one. I picked this one up from my buddy TA either this year or last year. I did a custom of it because I love it so much. To me, this is the precursor to the Valor versus Venom backstory because it is a mutated eel. And I think, they kind of hinted at like gene splicing, and that's exactly what Valor versus Venom was. And I think this is kind of the precursor that, when they were scratching their heads, like, what do we want to do? Hey, this gene splicing thing from the Mega Monsters was pretty cool. Let's go with that.
Cool. JD, what do you got? Bio Viper.
Love the idea. Don't love the toy. I do like it as a precursor to Valor versus Venom. That's great. The figure itself, look, I loved the Ninja Turtles line when I was a kid, but this figure looks like it belongs with the Ninja Turtles line, and I never felt like it was actually part of the Joe line. I like the idea, but I feel like they took a toy from a whole different toy line and they just threw it into the Joe line.
I wonder how he would look next to a He-Man figure.
That's a good question.
Just fine, probably, because it just does not look like it goes with the Joes at all.
It's a big, beefy-ass figure, man. This thing is big. And then freaking Chris,
a little bit bigger.
Chris is like,
He-Man.
Did I miss anything since last figure? Dude, I don't know when you left, but we've been like tearing through some honorable mentions, so I don't know. Back it up. So, what were you saying, James?
Okay. I was just saying that he's a little bit bigger than He-Man, the figure.
Cool.
So
the little
tentacles are easily broken.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's the last of our honorable mentions. We've talked about a lot of figures tonight. 2 hours, 40 minutes. We got one left to go. Dishonorable mention. I put him in here just to talk shit on this figure. He's not an army builder, but we kind of went back and forth between the four of us, and I decided to put him in here anyway, because if we could put Slice in here for James, we can put this guy in here for me, because I just wanted to shit all over this figure just for fun. It's just for fun, right? So, yeah. We're going to move on to him. Oh, and real quick, Photo Viper says Mega Monster scale great with Motu. So cool. Thanks for that.
Yep.
And here we go. This is my dishonorable mention for this week's show, episode 7, 1994 Ice Cream Soldier. Now, I know he has an actual name, but a lot of people army build Ice Cream Soldier. And we talked about Slice, so now we're going to talk about Ice Cream Soldier. I like the sculpt I hate the colors. I can't stand the code name. Ice Cream Soldier, honestly, like I can't do this figure. James, what are your thoughts on Ice Cream? I hate the name, man. It's so much worse than Gone Fishing Bazooka. Like, I just want to punch this guy in the face. Like, pick a better code name. Go ahead.
I actually used to like this guy until, and believe it or not, it was years. I mean, when I was a kid, I had no idea that he was a G.I. Joe. Because I got him through a trade at school from another friend of mine. So the whole time I was a kid, I thought he was a Cobra because he kind of looks more like a Cobra, like a Viper, you know? So it wasn't until, maybe a couple of years ago is when I finally learned that he was in fact a G.I. Joe. And I was like, oh my God, are you serious? So that like ruined my entire world. I no longer like him. He looks cool, but I will never buy him again. I will never own another Ice Cream Soldier figure ever again. Because it just ruined it ruined my entire like whole fantasy dream thing I had going on with him, you know. Like I always thought of him as a Viper. But
so instead of saying like I'm just gonna keep him Cobra in my Joe headcanon, you're like, fuck this guy. It's like
yeah, man. Yeah.
All right.
So
cool. No, I mean, and Zazel has a point, right? So I threw up Zazel's comment. Repainted this figure rocks. Yeah, I love the sculpt of this figure. I love that helmet design. I love the cross bandolier with the freaking grenades, and I love that he has like the kind of shoulder armor sticking out. Everything about the sculpt of this figure is so awesome. I just don't think the orange and the yellow does this guy any justice, and I think the code name does him a complete disservice. So that's why he's my dishonorable mention, because it could be on the level of Headhunter Stormtrooper if they just the paint apps, man, just like stick the paint apps and give him a fucking better name. Like Jesus, JD,
I believe,
save me. What do you got? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, James.
I was gonna say they did an updated version of him, I believe in like 2000 or 2001, and he looks freaking awesome. Like the whole updated version, different colors. He's got the same body sculpt, but he's got like bluish colors.
Shock Viper.
Yeah, that, and he looks amazing. So,
well, we're talking 90 to 94, my friend. These are the rules as set forth by you and me when we started this show, and this is a 1994 figure. So F that. JD, go.
It's loud. It's obnoxious. It makes no sense as a Joe. I love it anyways.
I knew you were going to say that, man.
This figure,
I love it.
This was one of the few 94 figures that I had afterwards, because I bought it in 1996 at a discount at a local discount store here. When I bought it, it had like dump bins full of like surplus 94, 93 figures. And this guy was a lot of those figures. He was not a popular figure, apparently.
No shit.
It's so ridiculous. It's so obnoxious, but I can't help but love it. The name is dumb as all shit. It's even treated as a joke on the file card, but
yeah,
I don't know. This figure has a weird appeal to me and I dig the fact he's a Joe. I understand why everybody missed that fact, because frankly, it turns out he makes a better Cobra Trooper when they repaint it in Cobra colors, but it does. I love this figure just the way it is.
So just to caveat what you said, his file card says, and I know a lot of people can't see it, but it's written right here. It says, eating ice cream without hot fudge is like fighting without ammunition.
What kind of crap is that, man?
I have no idea what they were thinking when they wrote that, but I don't know if somebody should have been rewarded or demoted for that. Either way, it's great.
Yeah. I just, I love the discussion that Dishonorable mentioned. Like it seems to have gotten some traction with our thing, James. It's like,
Yeah.
People hang out till the dishonorable mention, like, oh yeah, we're all gonna have like a back and forth and kind of argue. And like, I love doing it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff. So like, Zazel has a point. I like Zazel. He's very balanced. He said, if this was charbroil or barbecue, would we be hating on it?
Probably not.
And that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
One of those ones that I didn't know was a thing until the internet. And even then, I thought it was a joke until I looked it up on yojoe.com. And I'm like, oh, people aren't making this up. It's a thing. And yeah,
Right.
the Shock Viper paints are phenomenal. And that version 1 is so fucking hard to track down. It's one of the rarest figures in my collection because it came with that Black Cape Serpentor, which everybody's so hot for.
Oh man,
everybody wants that goddamn Serpentor, but nobody wants that Shock Viper that came with them. And I wanted the Shock Viper, and that was one of the hardest figures for me to track down in my collection.
I don't necessarily have beef with Ice Cream Soldier as a concept. I have a problem with the name.
Fantastic.
The card art's great, but I mean, look at him on the card art. He's not like a bright orange and that highlighter yellow. Again, just like other figures we've looked at, but look at Blowtorch. Blowtorch is red and yellow, but Blowtorch works. Something about Ice Cream Soldier, like they just kind of miss it. And I see Zazel's point, but I just don't see it. And then like even Christopher says, like, were they drunk when they wrote this? And then Dale points out there's a repaint where Ice Cream Soldier turned into a Cobra. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. They want to go for a character like Sergeant Rock. Anyway, Shock Viper. Anyway,
versions of it.
We've reached the end of the comments on the dishonorable mention, at least thus far. Anybody else got anything for Ice Cream Soldier? Tom Henry, was it Reagan?
Well,
right? Tom Henry Reagan? Reagan. Get it?
Hungry for ice cream now.
I like the fact that he's not just. I like the fact he's not just like a G.I. Joe flamethrower. No, he's a flamethrower commando. I have no idea what that means. Flamethrowing
means he doesn't wear any underwear.
Because flamethrowing is the opposite of what commandos generally do. So yeah, it's got to have something to do with whether he's going smokeless or not. Because it makes no sense. But fuck, what a great ridiculous figure.
And if I'm going to compliment Sandwich, right? If I'm going to try to say something nice about a figure that I just shit on, he comes with a sidearm, and I love the sculpt of his flamethrower. I love the sculpt of this. It does scream kind of aliens to me, and I like that.
Yeah.
The sidearm is a plus. The sculpt of the flamethrower is great. Yeah, he's got like that standard issue fucking spring-loaded weapon that we talk about a lot, James, how they just kind of reuse it.
Yeah.
But I will give him some credit. And, just to
but no back
to name. Yeah. But to name drop, Raging Spoon has a great modern kit to make an Ice Cream Soldier, and you can paint it however you want to paint it. So they do have a good
stuff
kit
from him. I definitely like he does quality work.
Yeah, it totally does. Anybody else for our dishonorable mention 1994 Ice Cream Soldier?
Nada.
Crickets? No? Okay.
Crickets.
Oh. All right, gentlemen. Well, that brings us to the end of our show. I didn't even count up how many figures we talked about in total, but it was a shitload. We're clocking 2 hours and 50 minutes. That's a long show.
It's longer than one of our shows.
That's our longest show to date, James.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. I hope my wife's still awake. Maybe she's not. But,
I think it's
that
time to
being
eat dinner.
said, yeah. That being said, Brian, JD from General Geekery, I cannot thank you guys enough for joining us.
Dude, thanks for having us on the show.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
It's always fun being on other shows.
Yeah, glad to have you guys.
You guys are awesome.
I know that we had to kind of put a pause on having you guys on earlier because we were kind of waiting on Kirk Bazigian to give us a yay or a nay while we had you guys kind of in the pipe to guest on the show. But we appreciate you guys holding off.
When I saw you announce that Kirk Bazigian was going to be on the show, I'm like, boy, if we're going to get preempted by anybody, I am happy it was Kirk Bazigian. And I'm like, what a fucking phenomenal interview you had with him.
Well, I appreciate it.
Man,
That was
it was, and I was like,
I
I was,
met him.
I was so devastated to not be on that show because I was so sick. But man, I really wanted to be on that show.
I met Kirk Bazigian at the 2018 Joe convention, but he was just signing autographs. I didn't have more than a minute to talk to him, but I would have loved to have had a longer conversation with him. When I was watching that show on YouTube, I was, I was responding to some of what he said. It was what a great interview.
Yeah, I was too, actually.
So if we're gonna get preempted by somebody, that's the way to go. So
Yeah.
Shit. I would kick my mother off the phone if Kirk Bazicki was like, "Hey, you want to talk?" I'd be like, "Mom, I gotta go." I mean,
nice.
hang up on my mother.
Man.
Again,
Yeah,
I can't
thanks
thank
for having
you
us
too.
on the show. It was
Yeah, and it's a good time to talk army builders because you guys are customizers. I know you guys get in the whole army builder thing. You guys had me on your channel and we talked about his tanks, like all the different his tanks. And that shit went long too, but it was all the his tanks. And we talked about all our customs and et cetera, et cetera. And I thought when James and I were talking about we were going to, re-rope you guys in after Kirk Bazigian, I was like, well, then that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk army builders.
That was
So that was definitely the way to go.
Yeah, I missed it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the episode where JD was on, where you guys talked about the Cobra Troopers, because that's my favorite thing from the Joe.
Well,
where we
brought
had
up the idea of army,
JD and
I'm like,
Sal from 2
that's
Cents Toys.
perfect. Yeah. But yeah, when you mentioned army builders on this one, I'm like, oh god, Brian's all about that. So
Yeah, totally. Cool. All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. And for everyone in the chat, thank you for interacting. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for supporting our show about 90s Joes, because we can't do it without you guys. And if anybody wants to get in the community spotlight, reach out to me or reach out to James and JD and Brian and Go Figure and General Geekery and the 1990 to 94 Facebook group that James runs and I help administer. It's all in the comments, so please check everybody's links out. Thank you guys for coming.
Definitely.
And you three, if you want to hang out backstage, by all means, please hang out backstage. And everyone, have a great night. Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks.
Thanks.
good night.
Good night.